What up, cappers, gamblers, punters, hustlers, low baggers? Happy Friday, April 22nd to all of you. Thank you for watching Betting with the Bag right here on Pub Sports Radio. I'm so enormously pumped up with our action this week, but I just, I was focusing so much on the capping, and I just read about Guy Lafleur dying. And, man, Mike Bossy and Guy Lafleur in the same week is very, very rough. The image of Guy Lafleur. Now, Guy was before my time. I mean, although he was playing when I was watching hockey, of course, when I was very young. But when he was, the greatest player in the league, was a little bit before my time. But the images of him with the hair flowing, skating down the ice is about the most romantic image you can have of the NHL. And that's a tough thing to read, and it's just like I just read about it right now. So, rest in peace to the Flower, the spectacular Guy Lafleur, and to all the people he's touched throughout his incredible career. Heart goes out to all you guys and to Guy Lafleur's family, and what a character. I mean, that hockey was one of the things that's so special about basketball. That's different from NFL and NHL, and MLB sort of works with it, but is that there's no helmets. Like, you really you see the players' emotions, and that used to be NHL before they all start wearing helmets. Thank God they're wearing helmets now. McTavish, last guy, he got to retire without wearing a helmet, but man, the character of Lafleur and seeing that hair flowing down the ice. I know that's what Ron Duguay was trying to do, and of course, nobody could mimic the great Guy Lafleur. So a sad, sad day for Montreal and Quebec, and a sad, sad day for hockey. And that kind of took the wind a little bit out of my sails, because, goddamn, have we been rolling this week and making so much money? And I don't get to say that often enough, how much fucking money we're making. It was a huge, huge day for us yesterday. 3-0 in MLB. I lost my one basketball bet on the Timberwolves money line, but 9-3 plus 6.63 units in NHL. I mean, we just murked that NHL card. We capped it so well. That's the thing that struck me. I mean, the wins and losses are obviously important, but it's how you cap the game. And we did such a great job of it. And 20-5 run right now in NHL. But taking the wind out of my sails, hearing about the great Guy Lafleur. But I will get back pumped up here in a second, because I'm Cab opens up his MLB account, and CMAC opened up his MLB account. They back-to-back days, just spectacular jobs capping, really raising the bar for everybody on the show. And then Dutch just passed the 65% mark, going 2-0 yesterday. It's never happened over a full season. I've never had a guest with this kind of a record before. And, we should all stop and take note and give respect. 49 wins and 26 losses, 65.3%, 21.68 units. He's up. ROI plus 28.91%, average line minus 105. And you know what you don't hear from Dutch? Buy my package. Send me money and I'll give you winner. He's just handing out winner after winner and not asking for anything in return. And that selfless capping is very special, and it's not a normal thing in our industry. It's not. So it's extremely special. And what's happening on the show, and it's been happening over a long period of time, and it's the chat that has created all of this. Because if you notice, all of the guests on our show have come from the chat. Because it's an old, boring white industry that's fucking boring. That was the first thing I said when I went down to Costa Rica. What do you think? I was like, your company's old, white, and fucking boring. And, we've played a huge role in changing that. And that's just by giving you guys a voice. And it's the most special part of the show. All right, it's time to get to work, though. We have a huge card ahead of us, mostly in Major League Baseball. I have made one bet in NHL, 2 bets in NBA, and 2 bets in MLB. And the last 48 hours, I've had enormous amount out there, and it was Wednesday. I think Wednesday might be the turning point. I mean, I know it's going to ebb and flow, and we're going to have good days and bad days, but man, Wednesday I had a huge amount invested in the MLB card, and I was trying to cap it like I did last year, and moved away from how I'd capped it early in the year. And it was a nice winning day. It wasn't much, in the end, we were only up 2.33 units on the day, but yesterday was fucking money, fucking money. Then the Flames division cashes yesterday. The Panthers division futures cashed yesterday. Just fucking feels real good. And we're allowed to let it feel good because we know how much the losers hurt. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Great to see all of you guys. We have now, we can slap each other on the back and tell each other how good we've been, but we got to keep it going. That's key. There's Viper NB in the house. A great bounce back day yesterday. Says Jazz are trash and need to blow it up. Now, once we move on to the next round, it's going to be very interesting. Did I leave the window open? Oh, god damn, I left the window open. Fuck, hear that chopper. Jose, you know what? I'm gonna have to close this fucking window in a second. Can you take over for a second? I gotta close this fucking window, man. I gotta.
Sure. I'll tell everyone how I went 8-0-1. Not a big deal yesterday on the fucking card. Not a big deal. Whatever. You know what? How about we change this for a second? Welcome to Say Hey Plays for 2 minutes. My name is Jose Bouquet. We had a big day yesterday. Literally everything cash. I was shocked at it. Actually, I went to go watch a movie. I came out with a lot of money in my pocket. Who would have thought? Boston full game over, cashes. Royals Twins full game and first 5 over, cashes. Thank you, Joe Ryan. Thank you, Zach Greinke. You're fucking sweethearts. Kyle Hentlian, 10K bet on the Oakland A's. I said, I'm rolling with my guy. Of course I'm rolling with my guy. Casher. No sweat. Pittsburgh first 5 money line. I put my balls on the line with Bryce Wilson. Welcome back to Betting with the Bag, by the way. I put my balls on the line with Bryce Wilson. He had a pretty shitty start. Will Crow comes in, dominates, and the fucking Pirates get a 2-run double in the 5th inning to give me my win. Dick on the table there. And Jim, Jordan Hicks, Pablo fucking Lopez, first 5 under 3. Don't worry about that. And Jim, Marco Gonzalez sucks as much as we thought he did. First 5 full game over for the Rangers in fucking 5 innings. I didn't watch the end of that game. I just took my money, put it in my pocket, walked away with a 62-43 record, up 27 units this year. And that's not even my high water mark.
Shit, I was so caught up in my own cash. I didn't realize Jose had a giant winning day. It feels so good. It just seems like it's right around the horn for us, all of us.
I called us the Broom Brothers last night too, Jamie. I texted you the record. I said, look at us, the Broom Brothers. Not a word from you.
Sorry, dude. I was so caught up in my own bullshit. It actually was my anniversary last night as well. Not that we did anything. I was focused on my own money making, but it was an anniversary for me, so that's why I was, also out cashing my money. Also, getting some love, Real Deal Prime, man, Guy Lafleur pumps. What a special character. I know how you would have been touched enormously by the man. What a character. What an incredible character. I mean, hockey was filled with such fascinating characters. Still is to a much lesser extent. But Fat Wally in the house has got my coffee and laptop on. Let's go. Thanks, Jimmy Pop Sports live stream guest best chat anywhere for information breakdowns. Much love and respect. Rebecca, little go. There's Slatsy saying sad day for hockey fans, especially here in Quebec. True superstar, electrifying player and childhood hero. 1 of 4 Habs have statues in front of the Bell Center. Feels like part of your youth is gone. It does. It does. And I have a picture of myself in front of that very statue as well. There's Matty Ice. What a call with the Tigers yesterday. Taint play of the day. We got for show in the house ready to get to work. And Satsi says, saw an interview with a goalie in Pee Wee that said whenever they played against Guy, he would wear 2 chest protectors because the shot was so hard. Wow. Uncle Oliver in the house. Satsi coming off another 3-0 day in the chat. How just... we're just running so hot, man. How can we move? I don't know, but let's not get too caught up. Dennis Garcia says, screw the T-rolls for ruining my life. Go Mavs, go. Go Steph, go. The best team in hockey is now a division winner. And he's talking about those Calgary Flames. But also the Panthers clinched yesterday. We had to wait for yesterday for that. Taint play of the day is in. It is the Chicago White Sox. Man, gosh, it was just last week. It was just Friday of last week where Bobano came on the show and we had to talk about the passing of the great Mike Bossy. And here we are another Friday later. And, and I guess it's just the age that we're all at, because our childhood heroes are now, dying. This is also a big thing that's happening in stand-up comedy. And I said this was going to happen. Well, obviously it was going to happen. I told everyone because stand-up was such a young art form that all of the first big comedians, all the first star comedians were all going to start dying, and that's happened there as well. It's part of life. What we need to focus on is not the death as much as the cycle of life, and the children and the babies and our families just need to be hugged and squeezed and loved as much as possible. Taint play of the day is in. And Dennis Garcia says Sutter unchallenged last 4 games, beat Vancouver on Saturday would be one. Sutter on goalie starting last 4 games. We had lots of breaks this year, 17-day break, 9-day break, 7-day break. Sutter's a beast, man. What a great coach. Okay, we got to get to work. There's Guillermo Zertucci. We have the run for the Roses right around the corner. Also tonight, Razor Sharp picks Cash It Fridays. I'm going to get on the show as soon as I get the kids down, get back on the sauce as well. Truth be told, I got back on the sauce about 48 hours ago, but I did take a couple weeks to dry out. Sati saying, congrats to Dennis Garcia and Jimmy for Flames call in the division. Only had a small stake, but great call. No, the congrats all goes to Dennis Garcia. The only thing I did was said it out loud, understood it was the right move. It's just the Pete Loshak school of capping. We can keep getting better. We just have to listen and keep improving each and every day. North Ender, Mr. Vape. We got to go. We got to get to work. It's already 15 minutes into the game. There's Nilo in the house. Nilo and I are going to go for drinks next weekend. Not this weekend, but next weekend. Anybody in the Toronto area, any low baggers want to come out and have Hammer the Sauce with us, let me know. There's Joseph Gomez. His red hat is on. Plus 108 is tempting. Might be a small dog a day. There's T ready to get to work. And there's Nut Flush Allen says, this is how you kick off a Friday morning. Arrived in Vegas, sitting in the sports book, capping the games. Kristen and I ready to party. Going to be hanging with Ragoo, Kelly, and more family. God, I love that. No, North Ender, I'm not back in the black in NHL. No, but I'm on my way. This was the worst regular season of my entire life. So no, and I'm not even that close to being back in the black. I was getting absolutely destroyed. I got pummeled in hockey when we were in San Antonio, and I had this huge run in NBA, which is the only reason why I came out in the black from that trip. Let's see, in NHL, it's ugly. 182 wins, 211 losses. I believe that's probably a 45.8%. I believe that's just off the top of my head. My ROI is minus 5.32%. And now these future bets I have not put in. And I'm not even sure if I believe I did tweet them all out, but they're not into the action. And then down 20.89 units. So it's been a horrible year. And my low water mark of my entire life was a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, and I was down 37 units in the NHL. And look where I'm still at, Parkdale. Okay, we got to get to work here. Stu Chaos in the house. Dabby Cab with a spectacular first appearance on the show. We got JPZ ready to rock. Viper giving love to Dutch Boy Fresh, who's been absolutely incredible. Astute Chaos catching that first half over. Yes, we should send him a care package. There he is right there. There's the guy right there, Dutch Boy Fresh. We have to recognize what he's done this year because it's never been done in the history of my show. And look, our show's only 5 years deep, and I can't wait till it's 20 years deep, and we have so much more statistical history that we can, go over. But this is the best single season that we've had, by any guest of the history of the show. There's LJ from H-Town. He's been cashing nonstop as well. All right, guys, there's Tease in the house. Love you, my man. Deacon Mike says, was going to be a great MLB season for me until the bastards at Bovada removed all the over-under home run props. Oh, no, we'll find. Damn, they really did that? Joseph Gomez says, don't tell the landlord. Look, the grills are fixed. The grills have been fixed. Okay, I love you guys. Let's get to work. I wish I could say what up to all of you guys. Remo says, pigeons are coming in. that I got up at 5:45 in the morning like this, just like this. And the first thing I did was kick a couple pigeons off the fucking balcony. It's the first thing I fucking did. Bubbarito in the house. Great to see you, man. We miss you, Bubbarito. There's Turnsey ready to go. Turnsey said, just keep firing away. Believe in yourself. He said, you're going to have major, big playoffs. Keep firing away. And so Turnsey was actually a big part of I had 12 bets in the NHL yesterday. Okay, we got to get to work. I wish I could give a what's up to all of you guys. You guys all deserve it. And I'm way behind the chat right now, and I won't be able to catch up. But thank you for being here. Let's get to work. We could do a whole show just talking about these incredible things coming from the chat. Dommy Gun Ricci continually cashing. Yes, Matty Ice, the stove is fixed. And North Ender says 20 units is doable. Playoffs are coming. Yes, it is doable. The only people I haven't, or there really is Ian Cameron's the only guy I haven't caught up with the stats yet. Everybody else is caught up. And we're going to be talking about everything, all the stats as we move forward. All right, let's get to work. Bring on your first guest of the evening. Just 45 minutes down the QEW from me. We had the pleasure of hanging out together once again in San Antonio, and I enjoy every moment I spend with the man. Great capper, great friend. Please welcome to the show, Ian Cameron in the house. Bobano, how are you?
Great to be with you as always, Jimmy. Let's do it.
Let's do it. I hate that we have to do this again, but we have to. I touched on it, and do you have anything to say about the flower before we move forward?
What is this crap that's going on lately? I mean, a Friday with me on the show and an NHL legend dies. I mean, what the hell's going on here? But yeah, obviously, very, very sad day for anyone in the hockey world, anyone that's an NHL fan, anyone that knows the history of the game. Guy Lafleur, 70 years old, passing away too young. I got parents older than that, and they're still alive, thankfully. 70 years old is too young. And this guy was just a brilliant goal scorer. We talked about Bossy last week. Guy Lafleur flying down the wing, ripping a slapper right over the goaltender's shoulder. I mean, it was just classic Guy Lafleur. What did he have? 6 50-goal seasons in his career. 5-time Stanley Cup champion, all with the Canadiens. I think all of them in the 70s, too. They were all in the 70s, I think, those Stanley Cup titles. What teams they were with Scotty Bowman coaching them. Just a phenomenal team. They were. Dryden in net. They obviously gave Don Cherry all kinds of headaches in those Montreal-Boston rivalry days back in the 70s. Just an outstanding goal scorer, outstanding player. Great flow, sick hair. Some of the best hair in the National Hockey League back in that decade, back in that era. And most of all, class personified. A guy that you would always see at the Bell Center or at the Montreal Forum back in the day, watching the Canadiens in action, attending the games, stayed connected with the community at all times, stayed connected with the fan base, the organization at all times. Just a through and through legend, a through and through terrific man. He will be missed. Rest in peace. The flower, Guy Lafleur.
Beautifully put. Rest in peace, Guy Lafleur. I got to spend quite a bit of time in the Forum over the last few years, 10 years or so, because Comedy Nest is there, a comedy club. So right in the Forum and just walking around and just imagining what had taken place before I was there was he was a big part of it. Let's get to work. But first, 9 wins, 3 losses, plus 6.63 units yesterday in the 20-5 run, plus 16.93 unit run. Philadelphia, Montreal over 6 cashed. Winnipeg, Carolina under 6.5 cashed. New York Rangers, New York Islanders under 5.5 was a mistake. It was a big mistake. I thought I knew who was going to be in net when I said that. The bet I was going to make, the first thing from the chat was, do you really think Shesty's going to be in net? He's played 6 of the last 9 days. That was a big mistake. And, Kings minus 1.5. I thought that was the easiest bet on the board. This team is coming together. They're healthy, and they were just going to beat up this shit Blackhawk squad.
They're lucky it was only 4-1.
Yeah, definitely. Boston, Pittsburgh under 6 cash. Pittsburgh minus 1 was a plus 130 casher. That was all because of the chat. We worked that out together. We talked about the rest advantage. We talked about, even with Malkin missing another game, we had this Bruins power play that was 0 for 28. That was great work done by the chat. Just me listening and us working together. That was a casher. Sabres plus 125. That was, again, working with you guys in the chat. Gokster was heavy on Buffalo. It was an easy move. Montreal -1 was a poor addition, but overall the additions were great. Florida team total under 4.5 plus 100. We talked about it. Am I getting too cute? I said it a few times. I should have just let it go. Carolina -1.5 cash. Tampa Bay -1 plus 123 cash. St. Louis -1 cash. Let's get to work right now. We start at 7 p.m. Eastern. Ottawa Senators 29-41-7, 16-20-3 on the road at the Columbus Blue Jackets 35-36-6, 19-15-4 at home. We're at Nationwide Arena in Columbus, Ohio. I have Anton Forsberg going up against Elvis Merzlikins. Forsberg 19-17-4, 2.79 goals against average, 917 save percentage, 1 shutout going up against Merzlikins, who's been better of late. 25-21-6, 3.32 goals against average, 905 save percentage, 2 shutouts. Senators power play at 19.5%, penalty killing 80.4%. Jackets power play at 17.3%, penalty killing at 78.7%. My initial thought was to back the Senators here. And why did I want to back the Senators without studying it? Well, because I watched them beat the Canucks. So I had the bias in my head. I watched that whole game. It was in my head. They snapped their 2-game losing streak with a 4-3 shutout win on Tuesday. They might be without Stützle. He's begging DJ Smith to play. He did miss practice. He's not on the injury report. I expect him in the lineup. So why I had to stop, say my subconscious is messing with me here. I just watched them beat the Canucks. But the Jackets have lost 3 straight. They go out into California and they look terrible. They get outscored by multiple goals in the first period in each of their games. They lose all the games. The only good thing happening for them is Columbus, Ohio-born Jack Roslovic has 10 goals in his last 21 games. Laine and Werenski both missed practice yesterday. They look like they're going to remain out. Boone Jenner's been out. But what helps you stop a losing streak? Coming home. And if you look at what they've done at home recently, they've been pretty good. And I think the Senators are a better hockey team with Werenski and Laine and Jenner out of the lineup. I think that's easy to say. But I don't want to fade a team who's coming off a bad California trip, who's now getting home cooking, back in their own arena where they've been playing well. With those two things combined, there's been no move for me on this game. Ian Cameron, take it away here. Senators, Blue Jackets.
Yeah, I mean, I would only look Ottawa. I mean, Columbus, to me, not interested with the injuries, 3 losses in a row. I'm not moving on Ottawa yet, but I lean Ottawa for sure. I haven't bet anything yet. I'm probably not going to make it official, but definitely would lean Ottawa here in this game. I like the way they're healthy again up front. Tim Stützle has been fantastic for the last couple of weeks that he's been in net. Drake Batherson's back. Josh Norris continues to produce offensively for them. And Anton Forsberg, by the way, in net tonight facing his former team. I think there's a little bit of always an incentive when you're playing a team that you used to be on. And that was the case here for Forsberg here. In fact, I remember he got the start against Columbus last time. It didn't go well for him. I think he wants it to go a little bit bad. Actually, it wasn't that bad. Ottawa just didn't score that night. They lost 4-1 in this game. So, yeah, to me, and the price is not where it should be, in my opinion. I mean, Columbus actually, and the money's come in on Ottawa. That's another reason I'm disappointed because, it was plus 110 on Ottawa. That's a really good price if you got them there. It's now to even money. So betting markets are seeing what I'm seeing. Columbus minus 130 as home favorites was not a great price, in my opinion. I think the move toward Ottawa is correct. Not making it official yet, but I definitely strongly lean Ottawa. Wouldn't be surprised if I bet it later in the day.
Yeah, I get it. Actually, at Bet365, I'm using the line. I'm able to use the line history for Bet365, so that's what we've been doing on the show, and I believe it is helpful. They opened it up with Columbus at minus 115, and over the first 3.5 hours, Columbus moved 5 cents in their direction. It's now back to where it opened at minus 105, minus 115. And from a total perspective, it opened up at 5:45 this morning and moved to 6.5, which is where it is, slightly juiced to the under. I think it's very dangerous fading a team who's looked so bad on a 3-game trip and then gets to come home. Otherwise, I would be on the Senators with you. And because of all this, I'm off of it. Richie Rich says revenge Ottawa. Coactus in the house. Great to see Coactus says I like Epicenter, but I think Messier charge it. Could be long shots. I can't wait. I cannot wait. It looks like there's a lot of parity this year, finally. Brady says, I bet the Blue Jackets here. Like them coming home versus a team that historically they handle at home. Good bounce back spot for them, in my opinion. And he bet the money line. Dennis Strutzy says, I like Ottawa here as well. Senators are scoring okay. Blue Jackets are not. If the Jackets have any heart, they win this game. Problem is they have no heart or spine. And Richie Rich says, Columbus off the road. Fade Richie Rich, when the team gets destroyed on the road coming home, I think the opposite. But and Richie Rich, another monster night in NHL last night. Great work, Richie Rich. No play for either Bobano or I, but Bobano leaning and may get to the window with the Ottawa Senators. Let's move to 8 p.m. Eastern. Seattle Kraken 26-44 and 6-11, 23-3 on the road at Minnesota Wild, 49-21 and 7, 28-7 and 2 at home with Xcel Energy Center, St. Paul, Minnesota. We'll start with the line history of this one here at Bet365. They opened up Seattle Kraken at plus 230, and now they're at plus 240. So a 10-cent move to the dog, a 20-cent move to the favorite, minus 280 to minus 300 for the Wild. And then this total opened up at 6, minus 110, a pick'em, and money's just been coming in on the over. Goes to minus 115 to minus 120 to minus 125. And about 3 hours ago, it moved to 6.5, juice to the under at minus 120. Grubauer versus Marc-Andre Fleury. Speaking of Marc-Andre Fleury, who is also nicknamed the Flower, would imagine that he would. He's been very good so far since he's come over, but Talbot's been even better. But I bet you he steps up in honor of Guy Lafleur tonight. Grubauer 18, 29, and 5, 3.09 goals against average, 891 save percentage, 2 shutouts. Those numbers are improving. They were disastrous all year long. Marc-Andre Fleury 25, 22, and 5, 2.90 goals against average, 910 save percentage, 4 shutouts. Seattle power play 14.4%, penalty killing 75.6%. Minnesota power play at 19.7%, penalty killing at 75.9%. Kraken are on their first 3-game winning streak in franchise history. But Matty Beniers has looked so good. And I love this. I love all this young influx of talent in the NHL. A second overall pick in the 2021 draft. He scored a point in all 4 games. And what kind of company does that put him in? 1 point in each of his first 4 games with an expansion team. Well, Wayne Gretzky holds the record. And now, do you count the WHA teams as real expansion teams? You shouldn't. And I shouldn't. So I won't even mention it. Because they weren't a real expansion team. So let's just talk about Beniers being so good. They're coming off a 3-2 win at home versus Colorado on Wednesday night. The Wild are on the second half of a back-to-back after winning their 3rd straight game, 6-3 at home over the Canucks last night. They can set a franchise single-season record with wins and points. If they win tonight, they're 15-1-3 since March 16th. 6-0-2 over their past 8, 11-0-1 run at home, and Kevin Fiala is just scorching hot. If they have him rolling the way he is, and Zuccarello and Kaprizov rolling the way they are, I think they beat the Blues, but I was on most of the chat believe that the Blues will beat the Wild. So I'd like you to touch on that, Bobano. But Marc-Andre Fleury, 6-1, 2.59 goals against average is coming over from Chicago. Foligno, Jost, Greenway, and Dumba, all important pieces, are expected to remain out of the lineup, trying to get healthy. So take it away here, Kraken Wild, and do touch on the first round matchup between the Wild and the Blues.
Yeah, I like the Wild team total over 3.5, minus 142. I've locked that in. Even with the back-to-back, I mean, you look at the Wild at home, they're scoring goals. I don't know if Seattle can do anything about stopping them or slowing them down at this point in time. Now, granted, they did beat Colorado and held them to 2 goals, but you're talking about a Colorado team that's going through the motions. There's no doubt. You look at the last 2 games for Colorado since they clinched the 1 seed in the West, home ice in the playoffs. That's not the same Colorado team. They're going through the motions. They're just trying to get the regular season over with, get the playoffs going. That's a factor in why Seattle looked so good, in that game the other night. Minnesota's a completely different story. It is important, I think, that with this Blues Wild series, whoever gets home ice advantage is going to have an edge and probably might win the series because both teams are so good at home this year. St. Louis has had a great home record. We know the Minnesota Wild outstanding at Xcel Energy Center. That is a huge deal. One of those 2 teams getting home ice advantage, getting that second in the Central. So I think it's a close series. I think it's a 6-7 gamer. We'll see who gets home ice advantage. I'll probably end up leaning with that team. That's how close I think this series ends up being. That could be the difference maker. If it's Minnesota, I actually am with you. Like all things were equal. Let's say there was no such thing as home ice advantage. I'd probably lean Minnesota because I just thought from the start of the year, they've been a very good hockey team. We really only got enamored with St. Louis, in the last month or so when they put together this incredible run, scoring goals left and right, the emergence of Billy Husso. You're seeing just 3 strong lines that can score. And to me, that's the biggest improvement with St. Louis is their offensive depth. There's 3 lines. There's 9 forwards legitimately on that team that can score every night. Minnesota's obviously had that most of the year. St. Louis suddenly has that. So I think from an offensive perspective, they're now better equipped to match firepower with the Wild. I think if it was played 7-game series in a neutral ice environment, I'd pick Minnesota by the slimmest of margins in that series. Certainly, if they get home ice advantage, I think they probably will win that series. So we'll see. And I think they want home ice advantage. I think they know it's important. So does St. Louis. It's why you see these two teams still really, really playing hard for this second place spot. And even though it's a back-to-back for Minnesota, and even though Seattle is the rested team, it's no travel for Minnesota. Fleury's in net, so I expect him to play well. You mentioned it, Guy Lafleur, definitely. There's a connection there. I'd expect him to play well. I don't hate Minnesota, puck line, but I don't like doing that on a back-to-back. I'm just going to go team total. Bank on Minnesota scoring 4. Here's what Minnesota's done, by the way, on home ice the last several games. 6 last night against Vancouver, 5 against San Jose at home, 5 against Edmonton at home, 6 against LA at home. And by the way, those 4 opponents, LA, Edmonton, well, San Jose's bad, and Vancouver, pretty good opponents outside of San Jose, scoring goals in bunches. They get to 4, in my opinion, tonight.
Yeah, and Richie Rich believing in that look as well. The team total over 3.5 minus 142 for Bobano. Big shout out to Jay Yim. Thank you so much for that $15 dono. It means a ton to us. We're not going to sell you anything ever on this show, ever. And so and we also just want your pockets to grow. So I don't even know how comfortable I am, with the donos, but they go to Pub Sports Radio, and that makes me feel good. So thank you so much, Jonathan. It means a ton to us. So thank you so much. And then $5 dono from Kenny Rogers, one who's been eaten with the horses. I don't know if you're following Kenny's action, but he gave us winners back to back on yesterday's show, and he's been excellent. So thank you to both of you. And thank you, very thank you to Lucas Ryan, wanting more racetrack vlogs. If I had my own way, I would just be at the track every day, drunk, and my life wouldn't last very long. But that's all I want to do, really. Nilo giving me $5 for pigeon feed. Thank you very, very much. All right, and Richie Rich saying, Ian, the hardest worker in this business. We greatly appreciate you. And Nasty Nate says, cash huge yesterday. Best day in a long while. I love all this. Okay, so Bobano is on the board with the Wild team total over 3.5. Wild on the second half of back-to-back, but expecting more offense from them. Does make sense, and he's moving on that. Let's move to the next spot on the board, and my only bet that I have made, and that is on the Edmonton Oilers. And there's been a move towards Colorado, and the whole Colorado off a loss thing. I don't buy it. I do not see Colorado fighting with Florida for first overall. I don't think they care about it. They've clinched the division a long time ago, and they just want to get healthy, and they just want to get right. Devon Taves staying home. Kadri's back. Gabe is... Landeskog is on the ice now, which is good. And Slatsy says, tribute to number 10, the Flower. Says, thank God Gretzky didn't die. God bless the chat. Yeah. Oh, sad day losing the Flower. Richie Rich's Edmonton times to raise a sharp picks with a dono for Ian Sergel. So a lot of love coming in from the chat. I said the dono train is on fire today. I love you guys. I moved on the Edmonton Oilers at plus 100. Now, they have 2 games in hand on the Kings, but that will only help if they win this game. I mean, if they lose this game, now they only have 1 game in hand, and the Kings are rolling. So I think this is a big game for the Oilers. They also want to see how they match up against Colorado, and this is a meaningless game for Colorado. Meaningless. There's big show picks in the house. So this is a spot where I bet the Oilers. When I saw the plus 100, I moved on it. I almost moved on to -1 for a big score. I decided not to because there was no vig on the bet anyways. Kemper 36, 10 and 3, 2.43 goals against average, 924 save percentage, 5 shutouts. Shout out to Burnaby Joe for sticking with him and being right. Mike Smith 14, 9 and 2, 2.88 goals against average, 913 save percentage, 2 shutouts. Shout out to Mike Smith for turning his season around. I love seeing the old keepers stick to it and get hot at the right time. And I love seeing Mike Smith step up. I thought Mike Smith was done when the Coyotes got rid of him, in all honesty. And so I've been excited watching him step up over the last few weeks. Colorado power play at 25.6, penalty killing 79%. Edmonton power play 25.8, penalty killing at 78.7. Let's take a quick look at the market history here in this spot. Oh, sorry, I was already on it, and I already talked about it. But we talked about the move. But what about the total? The total opened up at 6.5 for the pick'em. There's been a 10-cent move to the over, and Colorado comes in off that second straight loss, 3-2 at Seattle on Wednesday night. Rantanen set out the game with a non-COVID illness. Will he be back? Is there a point to rush him back? My answer is no. There's no point to rush him back, but maybe he does play. Devon Taves, who is Cale Makar's partner, is out. He's probably going to be out for the rest. They may give him one game just to get his legs moving before the playoffs. That's it. So he didn't make the road trip, but he would be in the lineup if there were the playoffs. Kadri returns to action after missing 8 games. He didn't look great. And Oilers coming up their third straight win, 5-2 at home over Dallas on Wednesday night. They're 9-1-1 since March 28th, and this game means something to them. And I took them plus 100. And I wonder if I'm going to take a look at the team total as well. I was probably high at 6.5, but they are the dog here. Take it away, Bobano. Avs, Oilers.
Right there with you, Edmonton. Yeah. Plus 105. I actually got it at plus 108 at that book, but it's gone down to plus 105. So we got to do it. We got to make it official as what the line is right now, and it's plus 105 right there at Bet Online. Yeah, I mean, there's really not much to say. I mean, Colorado totally going through the motions. Jared Bednar saying, I'm getting guys in the lineup. I want to give different players some looks. You talk about precautionary reasons keeping people out of the line. We've seen it with Toronto with Austin Matthews the last couple of games. Whatever he's dealing with, it's not a major injury, but it's load management. It's rest for the playoffs. It's all of this shit now creeping into the NHL that we've had to deal with in the NBA, for years. And you're seeing it with Colorado, like Devon Taves, not even making the trip here for Colorado for this game. Mikko Rantanen dealing with an illness. Will he return? He didn't play against Seattle the other night. You've also got a couple other guys out on the blue line. Well, Ryan Murray's been out forever, but Eric Johnson missed the last 3 games, and that's a veteran blue liner for them that may miss this game as well. Colorado's clearly shown the last 2 games. I had a pretty strong hunch after they clinched the 1 seed against Carolina. This would be a decent fade team here in these last few games, and I knew I was on them again. I was on Washington against them the first game after they clinched. I actually stayed off Seattle because I thought, you know what, the one spot against Washington, I could see Colorado being flat, lethargic, not play well, lose the game. But it's Seattle, and does this team really want to go skidding, into the playoffs and scuffling and losing games? And sure enough, they go into Seattle, and as soon as they got down 3-0 in that game, I said to myself, this team doesn't give a shit about the rest of the regular season. It's starting to look that way. They don't care about first overall. They just want to get it over with, get some guys rested, injured players, be careful with them. Don't put them in the lineup. I think it's just to get these games over with mentality for Colorado. And you look at Edmonton. The last time they played Colorado, they should have beat this team. It was in Edmonton. It was April the 9th. It was earlier this month. I remember the game because I took Edmonton in that game. And Darcy Kemper was ridiculous in that game. What he was doing was out of this world. 50 shots for the Oilers. And by the way, they had 50 shots the other night against Dallas as well. And they lost 2-1 in a shootout. They deserved the 2 points, though. They were the better team that night than the Colorado Avalanche. And I think that's going to be in the back of their minds tonight. Leon Draisaitl, Connor McDavid, Zach Hyman, Evander Kane and company, that we should have beat these guys the last time we played them here in this building in Edmonton. And I think this means something. I really do. I think this really means something to try to beat Colorado tonight. And you factor it in, as you said, they want home ice in that first round series, second in the Pacific. They still have work to do to clinch that spot. And a 2 points for them tonight against Colorado would be big to try to get that done. So totally with you here, Jimmy. Edmonton, for me, money line as well.
Yeah, and Matty, I saying this has got to go over. I don't think so. I'm not comfortable with the total. In fact, if I'm feeling the way I am, I guess it would be the Avalanche team total under that might have the value here. I'd like to see what it is right now. And I wasn't thinking this before, but no, even under 3.5 at minus 135. So can't go there and can't take the under 3 at a plus price, even though I wouldn't mind that. Yeah, I don't want to mess with the total. Bobano's on the Oilers. He bet it at plus 108. Got it here officially at Bet Online at plus 105. I got it at plus 100. There we go. Now, final game on the card before we move into MLB, 10:30 p.m. Eastern. Washington Capitals 43-23-11, 24-8-6 on the road at the Arizona Coyotes, 22-49-6, 10-26-2 at home, Gila River Arena in Glendale, Arizona. We have Samsonov going up against Vamelka. I'm not sure if that is right, so let me know if there's been some changes since then. 23-10-5 is Samsonov, 2.99 goals against average, 897 save percentage, 3 shutouts. He's been much, much better on the road, as have the whole Capitals hockey team. Karel Vamelka on the other side, 899 save percentage, 3.67 goals against average. Never know when he's going to stand on his head because he does that on occasion, but he hasn't been very good over the entire season. But he doesn't have accountable forwards ahead of him, and he's got a so-so defense, pretty leaky. Washington power play at 20.1%. Penalty killing 81.8%. Arizona power play at 13.7%. Penalty killing at 73.7%. Capitals had their 2-game winning streak snapped in a 4-3 overtime loss at Vegas on Wednesday night. 6-1-1 over their past 8 games. Ovi scores twice. He's got 50 on the season. So now he ties Bossy and Gretzky with his 9th career 50-goal season. And, every time I say that, it feels like we were robbed. Bossy played in such a tough era. When he was in the queue, all other teams were trying to do was to hurt him. And, when he came in as a rookie and scored, 53 goals as a rookie, all the other teams were just trying to physically hurt him. And it's too bad. We were robbed of watching the legend Mike Bossy play longer. But let's talk about Ovi here. 780 goals. So he's only 21 behind Gordie Howe for second place. 8 goals in his past 8 games. What a beauty Ovi is. Kuznetsov also rolling. So he's got a point in 20 of his past 22 games, 9 goals, 18 assists. When he got busted for coke there a few years ago, he was not playing well, and that continued over the next couple of years. And I wasn't sure what we were going to get from Kuznetsov, but he is back. Coyotes coming up their 8th straight loss, 4-3 overtime loss at home to the Blackhawks on Wednesday night. They had lost 6 straight games by 4 or more goals. They've looked a little better on this 4-game homestand. They lose 5-3 to Carolina on Monday. They lose 4-3 to the Blackhawks on Wednesday. I know that the Capitals need to win this game, but Ovi gets his 50th goal. He now has 90 points. I'm not very interested in having anything to do with either side here. Let's just take a quick look at the market history before we go into baseball. This is what we have. We have at Bet365, the Caps go from minus 390 to minus 425 this morning. And then there was just a big move back to Arizona. Caps go from minus 425 to minus 380 at 10:23 a.m. Take it away. Bobano, my guy. Final game on the card, Caps, Coyotes.
So I've been betting against repeatedly the Arizona Coyotes with the puck line, and finally lost one with Chicago, who only won by a goal, 4-3 in overtime the other night. I still want no part of Arizona. It's an AHL roster, right? That's what it is. I mean, that's what they've got on their hands right now with all the injuries. They're depleted up front. Keller, Krause, others. They're depleted on the back end, obviously, with Jacob Chikrin out. I mean, there's just too many key players that are out for this team right now, and they can't really compete all that well with it. Now, to make matters worse, we laugh at Nick Ritchie at times and how disappointing it was for him in Toronto. He's been terrific, for the most part here in Arizona. He's been very good for the Coyotes. He was a scratch Wednesday night, and he might be missing tonight's game as well with an upper body injury. So just keeps getting worse for Arizona here. Their defense and their goaltending is just beyond abysmal. It's abominably bad right now with this team. And look, I don't even fault Vamelka and Hari Sateri, the 2 goalies here with the Coyotes. It's just a team that can't defend. They don't have the depth on the blue line. They got a lot of guys that are playing minutes that they should not right now on that blue line. So every team has gone into or faced Arizona and put up a crooked number on them. I mean, you look at the Coyotes, they've given up 4 to Chicago, 5 to Carolina, 9, 7, 6, 6, 5, 5. I mean, they've just been horrendous defensively. It's a big reason why they've gone over the total in 6 straight games. Washington off a 4-3 loss to Vegas the other night. They've actually been a big over team. So I'm going to pump the brakes on the Washington puck line tonight. I lean that way, but it's $1.60, to lay a goal and a half. I don't want to do that. I don't want to lay that kind of juice on a puck line with Washington, especially when you look at it. Washington, they can get Pittsburgh still. It's going to take some work, and Pittsburgh got a big win last night to separate themselves a bit from Washington. So that's still something Washington can do, move up to third. but in the Metro, but you still can't get home ice in the first round. So how much does this matter to Washington? I really don't know. So I'm going to pump the brakes on the puck line because, look, odds makers are finally starting to adjust to it and how bad Arizona's been. But I am on it for an official play over 6.5. I'm riding these overs with Washington. I'm riding these overs with Arizona. Both of them have been teams I've been betting overs with repeatedly. I don't trust either team to totally shut down the other. And Arizona did finally get some offense going the last couple games, scoring 3 against Chicago, 3 against Carolina, the game before that. So I think Washington scores 3. Arizona, the last couple games, has showed the capability of scoring 3. And if you get that happening, there's your over. So I like over 6.5 here. Let me just take a look what the price is. You can get it at, hold on one sec. Over 6.5 minus 108.
Yeah, minus 108. That's the best one I could find as well. So let's lock you in here. Over 6.5 for Bobano. And Rich agreeing with that. I agree with it too, but God, I just don't know how much the Capitals care. I think that I don't have the numbers in front of me, so why don't I pull up these numbers before I say I don't think they care? Let's just. Bobano, do you mind pulling up the standings really quickly while I lock this in for you, and just give us where the Penguins are and where the Caps are, so I can ensure that they don't care? Because if they care even a little, I think this over makes a ton of sense.
They're only 2 points back, and they have a game in hand. So that's the good news for Washington. They're 2 back of Pittsburgh with a game in hand. So that's why it was such a big win for Pittsburgh last night. Pittsburgh 99 points, 4 games left. Washington 97 points, 5 games left. And tonight will be their game in hand that they have on Pittsburgh.
Rich says Washington will score 3 in their sleep tonight. Maybe this. I don't want to. I feel like I'd probably be leaving money on the table if I don't do this. And
Dundas Real McCoys, down the street from me, could probably put 3 goals on Arizona at least now. The Senior A hockey team.
Yes. Yeah. They're the real deal too. Dundas Real McCoys. But over 6.5. I think I might jump on. Okay, but let's move on to MLB, and we're running real nice here in MLB. Let's start by giving a big shout out to both Connor Mack, who was excellent on Wednesday, and Dabby Cab in his debut here. He started off with a loss on the Red Sox first 5, but Mets minus a half at plus 105 cashed. Baltimore, Oakland over 3.5 at minus 111 cashed. First 5 on the Twins I was on as well, cashed. And his Pittsburgh versus Cubs over 4.5, first 5 at minus 115 cashed. 4-1 in his debut, not his debut because he came on in San Antonio, but his opening up his MLB card. So shout out there. I went 3-0 yesterday, and I needed it. And since I went back to exactly what I did last year, we are good. We're 11-5 in the 48 hours since I've done that. All first 5, Mets first 5, Twins first 5, Marlins first 5, cash. And by the way, Robert Franklin saying Coyotes been giving up the cheeks. He says I've been betting Arizona over and opponent's team total overs. It's a perfect angle if you just focus on that alone. I get it. And Kyle Hintley making the big boy bet on the A's yesterday, put a smile on all of our faces. So shout out to Kyle Hintley. And let's get to work in MLB. And Bobano, this will be because I fell behind on the stats. I've caught up to everybody's caught up, and you're my final person. So next Friday, all your stats will be back in action. I fell behind in a Kraken fueled couple weeks in San Antonio. So let's get to work. Bobano, we start.
That's why you've been dry the last few weeks. You've needed it after San Antonio. Yeah, we all have.
I did. And one of the getting the records for Darryl, I had to go back to that Friday show we did in San Antonio because I didn't write down what he'd done. I was so drunk in that final hour, and watching that was a little painful watching that. Antoine Carson 5-0 yesterday and no runs on the first. Matty Ice says, talking with Slatsy for Matty Ice's BetMGM has Washington to win, and both teams have scored 2 at plus 150. Wow, Matty. Wow.
BetMGM now available in Ontario, stepping up. That's a great little bet there. That's fantastic, actually.
Yeah.
So good, I'm betting that.
That is nice. Okay, let's get to work here. We start with the Pirates, 6-7, 2-5 on the road at the Chicago Cubs, 6-7, 3-4 at home. There's Kyle Hintley and says Giants money line. I don't give a Darryl about the price. That's gonna come. That's I like that. That's gonna work. Says Corbin is a fade like Bundy last year for me. I'm on the Nationals first five. Kyle, I just when I watch the Giants against the lefty, I laugh and point. So, but that makes me nervous. Thank you so much for the dono, Kyle. It means a ton to us. There's Fap win. It has been too long. He's betting on a run to be scored in the first inning in the Cubs game. But you know what, Kyle? We could both have our way. If Cap or the Nats win the first five, and you can have the full game. Mr. Chicago in the house. What's happening? Bruce Hayward is a big boy bet on the Cubs, and I came close to it as well because everyone knows my love for Drew Smiley. But I could not take them at this big of a price. Let's start with the weather and just do our regular breakdown here. Where is my swish? Okay, I'm going to have to pull it up. So why don't we just start with the market moves, and I'll pull up the weather after Bobano breaks everything down. Here we go. We have Quintana, Smiley. Smiley and the Cubs open up at minus 155 at Bet365 yesterday at 5:14 p.m. They've just taken money at 5-cent intervals all the way up to minus 175 at 8:35 this morning. When we go over to the totals, opened up at 7.5 for the pick'em. There's a 5-cent move to the over. We take a look at the cash flow in this game. We have 7,578 tickets in. 71% of the tickets are on the Cubs and 62% of the cash. That has changed. This morning, or at 6 a.m, there was a lot of cash on the Pirates. So clearly the public coming in and hammering the Cubs, and I get it. 75% of tickets on the over, 85% of cash on the over. Quintana has been okay this year. Decent. 3.86 ERA, 1.61 whip, 9 1/3, 5 Ks, 5 walks, 1 homer. I expected him to be atrocious. Last start, he went 4 innings, 5 hits, allowed 3 earned runs, 3 walks, 2 Ks, and a 5-3 win at home versus the Nats. Drew Smiley has been very good, and that start at Colorado was excellent. He went 4 2/3 in the thin air, 4 Ks, 1 walk, and a 6-4 win. The Pirates are hitting okay against lefties. And 663 OPS is weak, but if you compare it to the league average, it's not bad. And then Cubs versus lefties are ripping the leather off the ball. 259, 804 OPS. And both bullpens have been good. Take it away, Bobano. Pirates, Cubs.
Yeah, this is I really do lean to the over here. I don't know if I'm on the fence whether I want to actually make it official for the show. I'm going to actually 7.5 over the total. I like it enough. I don't trust Smiley to keep this going. Sorry. He's Drew Smiley. He's got a career ERA above 4. There's no way I'm trusting him to keep this up indefinitely. Now, the only question is, can the Pirates line up, which we know is not exactly a potent one, scored, just 9 runs in their last 4 games combined. Although, 4 runs that's their high water mark. That's why it's tough. But I don't trust Smiley here necessarily to keep this going here for the Cubs here going into this one. Quintana, on the other hand, he's bet against for me. He's been pretty much a bet against pitcher for me the last couple seasons. And you spit out the stats there with the Cubs against lefties. They've been mashing southpaws this year. So I think there's enough we can get for an over here. Now, I had the over last night, as if you watched Jose's show, fell short, had a nice start with the over there, and it just both bullpens, you're right. That's a good point about the bullpens. They shut it down. So maybe I should be splitting this up with the first 5 over, just in case those bullpens are good again, but it is a day game after a night game. So a lot of times bullpens aren't as fresh. Bullpens aren't as sharp when you make that kind of a turnaround. Going from a night game to an early start day game such as this. So I will take my chances with the full game and just stick with the full game over. It's 7.5 right now in this game. It looks like minus 110 appears to be the best price we've got with that. That's at WinBet. So it looks like that's as good as we're going to get with the juice there. I like it, though. Pirates and Cubs over 7.5. And I like some of these situations, too, where, you have a lower scoring game or two for a team a couple days in a row, and maybe you see the opposite happen. Let's not forget, before last night, Cubs had gone 4-2 over the total, or 6 games prior to that. So 7.5, reasonable total. We'll go over.
I get it. I like what Smiley's been doing, and he's one of those pitchers that wears down due to all the injuries he's faced, and the
I'm sure he
horrific
will get hurt. That's usually a given. Yeah.
Well, and then we all remember that horrific injury when he was playing for America in the World Cup
Yep.
back when he was supposed to be a highly thought of stud coming up. So I get it. I get the over 7.5. I will not be on it. It's 12 miles per hour left to right. There's a 33% chance of rain. And important question, and Moose Money saying Smiley metrics are good right now. He's done this before where he pitches well, but then injury derails the season. Mr. or MDR 24 says since daily baseball data died, who y'all use for MLB daily matchups? I haven't found the right one personally for me because I'm still with MLB.com and I don't like it. He's saying that that Stat Fox is all right. Who are you using for MLB matchups, Bobano?
Yeah, Stat Fox isn't bad. I've actually gone there for, daily baseball data. Hurts my soul that site's been shut down. That was just a brilliant resource for me for years. You'd get a complete histories of every hitter against a particular pitcher. I mean, it was great for that. The weather was very accurate. They'd give you actually the wind patterns and the wind directions as well, whether it was going in, whether it was blowing out. It's just so sad that site's gone. It was just such a daily go-to for me handicapping MLB, but RotoWire too. I mean, and if you're willing to pay a subscription fee for it like I do, it gives you great info too. Pitchers, the hitters. It'll give you some matchup information. So RotoWire is definitely one of my top resources for capping the card on a daily basis.
Yeah. Yeah, I was surprised because the first thing I thought of was if I could get a hold of daily baseball data, there's lots of ways to bring in income with a site that so many of us used. I'm surprised that they let it go here. Dommy Gun's been using StatCast and Swish. Weather is free. Yeah, that's good. If anybody has any other ideas, let us know in the chat what you guys have been using. And Kyle Hintley and making a big bet on the Giants. We're going to get to that Giant spot here in a second. But first, 6:40 p.m. no move for me in this afternoon game. Bobano on the over 7.5 -110. 6:40 p.m. Eastern. St. Louis Cardinals 7-4, 4-3 on the road at the Cincinnati Reds. 2-11, 0-2 at home. We're at Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati, Ohio. Another thing for me that all the guys who cab with me for years know is that I want to have action on the afternoon game. And when I went over my ROI on afternoon games, it's poor because I want the action on it. And not because I'm necessarily finding an angle. It's because my day will be much more enjoyable if I have a game between 2 and 5 p.m. Eastern. And so I'm trying to be hyper aware of that and the subconscious trying to screw me over. All right, Cardinals Reds is next up. Great America Ballpark. It's 79 Fahrenheit at first pitch, 4.5 miles per hour in, and it moves up to 5.4 down to 4.9. So about 5 miles per hour in is the weather at Great America. Steven Matz, whom I don't trust, and is coming off a great start against a Brewers team that's not hitting lefties, albeit. Matz 1-1, 7.27 ERA, 1.50 whip, 8 2/3, 11 Ks, 1 walk, 1 homer. Last start, 5 2/3, 3 hits, 6 Ks, no walks, and a 2-1 win at the Brewers. Going up against Hunter Green, 1-1, 4.35 ERA, 1.06 whip in 10 1/3, 13 Ks and 2 walks. High upside with Hunter. He has allowed 3 homers thus far in just 10 1/3. His last start was pretty good. It was at the Dodgers, a tough place, a tough lineup to pitch against. He went 5 1/3, allowed 5 hits, 3 runs, just 2 were earned with 6 Ks, no walks, and 1 homer. The Cards aren't hitting righties, 219, 630 OPS, but they're hitting righties harder than Reds are hitting lefties at 187, 544 OPS. Let's take a look.
Reds aren't hitting anyone.
Reds aren't hitting anyone. No, they've been a spectacular fade. Let's talk about the market here. So we have not much movement. Cards opened up at -120. They took 5 cents and then 10 cents up to -130, and it's come back 8 in the morning. 10-cent move back to the Cincinnati Reds. And let's take a look at the total as well. This total opened up at 9. At 1 in the morning, it went to 8.5, and at 10 this morning, it's gone to 8. So we're down a full run at this point. Let's take a look at the cash. 10,213 tickets in. That's the most tickets in of any game so far. And they say that there is, by the way, Sports Insights has line value, legitimate line value on 3 teams. One of them was the Pirates. They have line value on the Cincinnati Reds here. We're sitting here with 24% of the tickets on the Cincinnati Reds and 50% of the cash, and a clear 10-cent move to them at 8 in the morning. Now that just brings it to where it opened, though. Keep that in mind. 66% of tickets on the under and 94% on the cash on the under, and we've seen it drop a full run. Real Deal Prime says, I back green. Reds stink. Reds stink, though. Kyle Hintlian is on the Cards. Matt Paulin says, I can't back Mats on this sketchy line. Take it away, Bobano. Cards, Reds.
I want to take Cincinnati badly because I like Hunter Green. I like Hunter Green quite a bit. Throws hard, is good. Has got lots of upside long term for this Reds team. But gosh, you have to back this lineup, which is horrible right now. One team is dead last in MLB OPS. Guess who that team is? The Cincinnati Reds, 30th in Major League Baseball in team OPS. So it tells you all you need to know about the lineup. They're not hitting lefties. They're not hitting righties. They're not hitting anything or anyone right now. And so you've got to trust that if you're going to back Cincinnati and a team now on a 9-game losing streak. I mean, look what they've scored. 4 runs in the last 4 games combined. It's hard to trust this team. But I favor Green over Mats. I do. I Mats is one of those guys that, terrible in his first start, lit up by the light-hitting Pirates. Was better in the last start against Milwaukee, shut him out, 6 strikeouts in 5.2 innings. But he's one of those guys that could very easily go right back and have a rough start tonight. That's, Steven Matz' inconsistency has been well documented throughout his Mets tenure, throughout his Blue Jays tenure. He did start out strong with the Blue Jays and then, of course, petered out a bit as the season went on last year. But yeah, there's a reason why the money's moved on Cincinnati. I definitely prefer Green. There's no doubt. It's Cincinnati or pass for me. But man, the value and the price has been totally sucked dry. This opened as high as -160, and the Cardinals are now -120. That is a 40-cent move that we have seen in some spots here on this Cincinnati or the St. Louis team. Cincinnati, even with the injury or even with the struggles offensively for Cincinnati. So lean Reds, but man, it's very difficult to back a team that can't hit their way out of a wet paper bag, and they've lost 9 in a row. So it's probably just going to be a lean.
Exciting. Very exciting. We have the hottest MLB capper in the business coming off a monstrous day yesterday who has a say hey play for this very game. Please welcome to the show Jose Bouquet in the house. Jose, Cardinals, Reds, say hey play. Take it away.
I'll keep it short and simple and sweet. I trust Steven Matz against certain teams, and this is a team that I trust him against. The Reds can't hit anyone. I love Hunter Green, as we know. I've backed him in some sort of way every time he's been out. First 5 under, 4.5, -115. I got it earlier tonight. I'll double check what the line is. But yeah, I don't. Bobano's got bigger balls than I do, and I can't take overs anymore. I just can't do it. I'm not about that life anymore. Noli, I haven't talked to Noli, but Noli's gave me a hypothetical slap in the face, and I just thought I can't do it. I can't do it anymore. So I'm under.
Yeah, I had Baltimore, Oakland, and Texas, Seattle over last night. You can bet overs in MLB. You just have to be selective, especially early in the year when pitchers have the advantage. The weather hasn't warmed up yet in a lot of these places. It'll come.
And luckily, I took those team totals.
You're talking to a man in Bobano who doesn't like unders. So don't tell him he can't bet overs. He'll show you the winners.
Yep. I've heard Bobano told me yesterday he didn't have success with the unders, and then I just heard Noli in my head saying, "Don't be an over better. Don't be an over better."
What can we get for that first 5 under right now? And by the way, Noli's been very busy, but he will be on the show as we move forward. He did reach out a couple days ago. What are you getting on that first 5 under?
Right now, it's first 5 under 4 -115. I'll take that. I got 4.5 last night, which is the benefit of capping the games early. But I'll take the 4, no problem. I believe in Hunter Green, even if he does give up a home run or 2. I think Steven Matz will shove. My only concerns would be Steven Matz does have a spotty history against some of these Reds, namely Tommy Pham, 4 for 5 with a Yabo, of course. And then I would consider 2 for 6 and from Joey Votto and 2 for 5 for Brandon Drury with a home run. That's okay, too. And traditionally, Cincinnati is a hitter-friendly park, too. Those are my 2 concerns here. But I think Hunter Green is electric. One of the better young pitchers in baseball. I hope he stays healthy the whole year. And I think Steven Matz is a young, savvy veteran. And someone said in the chat earlier he had a blister in his first start. That also hurt him. Dami. So there we go. I believe in Matz. I think he'll have a good start here too.
very exciting. I'm keeping everything as we've seen for the last 48 hours. Has to be all correlated. But if Jose likes it, it's likely to cash. We have first 5 under 4 at minus 115 is the say, hey, play. Oh, the
I
day.
think
Yeah.
I was gonna say there's another correlated play on the card, but unfortunately it's against one of your beloveds. So that's gonna be a real painful for you if you get there.
Okay, we'll jump on when we do because I find that very interesting. So jump on. Let me know which game that is here, and we'll get you back on for that. All right, let's move on to 7:05 p.m. Eastern. Cleveland Guardians at New York Yankees. We head to the Bronx, baby. The Bronx. Let's see what we are dealing with from a weather perspective. First pitch, 63 Fahrenheit, 10.3 miles per hour, slightly out, left or right. Slightly out, but then within an hour, it's just left to right completely, and it dies down 6.9 down to 6 miles per hour. Let's take a look at the market history. Now, this market history, again, I would use a different book to give us market history with, but this is where I can give the history, and I like being able to do it. So we are using Bet365 for market history. This opened up at 1:15 this morning with the Yankees as minus 200 favorites. Immediately moved to minus 180. No, I shouldn't say immediately. My fault. It moved to minus 185 just an hour and 15 minutes ago. So hour 15 minutes ago, moves 15 cents. From a total look, opens up at 9 at that 1:15 in the morning. And the first move was actually towards, well, which makes sense, was towards the under. But that didn't happen until 8:15 this morning. So at 8:15 this morning, this under started getting pummeled. Moves from 9 to 8.5 down to 8. So movement towards the under. Jameson Taillon, once very highly thought of prospect, number 1 overall pick, I believe, and he's done very little, but he's had a good start to the year. 3.72 ERA, 0.93 WHIP in 9 2/3 with 8 Ks and 1 walk, 2 home runs. His last start, he went 4 2/3, 3 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 homer, 2 Ks, 1 walk in a 5-2 win at the Orioles. But the Guardians are smashing righties. And do we know who is on the bump for these? Do we know who is on the bump at this point for? We don't, do we? Been waiting to find out who is on the bump.
Eli Morgan.
Eli Morgan.
Not a
He's
bet
coming
on
up.
guy, in my opinion.
No, but no, he's not one of the highest upside guys for sure of the kids that Cleveland brought up last year. Take it away, Bobano. Guardians, Yankees.
So this is some kind of Yankees team total over or full game over if I were to bet it. I just don't know. I might go Yankee team total. I think Taillon can maybe neutralize the Cleveland Guardians a bit. It's one of these spots where you just see the Cleveland Guardians sweep the White Sox, mash the baseball against them. It feels like one of those spots where after a sweep of Chicago, they go on the road to Yankee Stadium and maybe get shut down tonight. You know, I've got that kind of just that gut feel in the back of my mind. And Taillon, he allowed 2 earned runs in each of his first 2 starts. Toronto, Baltimore, he didn't pitch that bad. His numbers against Cleveland aren't great. 4.91 ERA. We'll see how he fares here in this one. But I'm not an Eli Morgan guy. I can tell you that right now. 4.5 ERA. It's his first start of the year. He started a bunch of games last year. It wasn't necessarily very good. 3 runs on 5 hits in 6 innings in relief this year. He pitched Sunday and gave up 2 runs in the 6th inning. Like, he's just not someone I trust here. Now, the Yankees lineup has been very, very disappointing at times. They've had some games that it's super, mind-boggling and maddening, where this team can get completely shut down and then they'll score 5 the next day. That's been kind of what it's been for the Yankees, who did absolutely nothing, by the way, yesterday against the former Yankee, Michael Pineda. But that's okay because I like Detroit in that game yesterday against the Yankees. I thought that would be a good spot, and Detroit got it done there in that game. Man, I'm thinking full game over, Yankee team total. I think with the Yankees 2 off a loss coming back home, Cleveland, sweep of Cleveland. I remember backing Cleveland, I think, in a spot like this where they were rolling. They went on the road and they got beat. It kind of feels like this could be the case here. So Yankee, I'm not going to make it official yet on the show, but Yankee team total, I see it over 4.5, minus 130. That might be something I end up backing.
Yeah, I can understand them starting to play a little better here. I'd like to pull something up here so I get a little bit more information. Oh, I don't think I did the cash flow on this one anyway, so let's go there with the Yankees game. What the hell? Here we go. Just 2,849 tickets in because it came out so late. 49% of the tickets and 78% of cash on the Tribe. Surprisingly, wow. 54% of tickets, 90% cash on the under, and we've seen it move to the under. Sorry, got so many things open, and I'm not having a problem getting some of these sites that I would like to get. I'm very curious to see what Eli's done here in his two starts in the minors. So I'm just going to pull that up quickly, and then we can move on past this game. Here we go, minor leagues, and Eli Morgan. You don't see a lot of these 5'10", 185-pound pitchers in the show anymore, and he's been just pitching out of the bullpen. So he hasn't spent any time in the minors here. Interesting. So in 6 innings, 5 hits, 3 earned runs and a homer, 6 Ks, no walks. Damn, I was hoping we might get a start from him to study in the minors. We aren't getting that. Okay. So no action for me here. We do have Dabby Cabs action in. We will discuss it when we get to those games. But no move for me in the Yankees, Guardians. And this is a pretty nice opportunity for Eli Morgan. Yeah, Matt Paulins, he pitched last year. I remember very well when he came up. We can pull up those numbers too. Last year he went 5-7, 5.34 ERA, 1.254 WHIP. This wasn't a highly thought of prospect, but these guys at that age, this height, hard for them to make it, to get noticed. 8th round pick. That's not bad actually out of Gonzaga Bulldogs. And wow, look at that. Don't Ask, Don't Tell with an enormous $100 dono. Says it's been a monster week thanks to the Pub Sports Radio crew. Says
wow,
we be
that's beyond generous. We appreciate that for sure. Thank you very much.
An enormous dono to us. Thank you so much. Don't Ask, Don't Tell. I'm so glad that you're getting that cash, and that's just huge. I'm also at a loss for words with such a enormous donation to Pub Sports Radio. Thank you so much, my friend.
I'm ahead of Jose on this because I thought we'd get a breaking news from Jose on this, but apparently I figured it out before he did. Pirates Cubs is moved to tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, rain at Wrigley Field. So it's a night game now. Pirates and Cubs.
I was trying to figure out why some of these sites were having it at 8 p.m. and the weather here was set up for 8 p.m. I had to go to a different site to get the 2 p.m. weather. That makes a ton of sense. So, that makes a ton of sense. And then, so just very quickly, because of that, let's just talk about what the weather is at 8 p.m. for that spot, because you're on the over, and it's 9.8 miles per hour in. Down to 9.2 and 8.1. The first pitch cold, 44 Fahrenheit.
Yeah. Oh boy. Yeah.
Yeah. But one more time, thank you.
With it. What the hell? I'm sticking with it.
Don't Ask, Don't Tell means a ton to us. So thank you so much for the dono. Okay. Let's move on. So you're leaning towards the Yankees, but not moving on it?
No, I'm not going to. It's 4.5 and it's juiced, and home team too. So maybe you only get 8 innings of at bats instead of 9. So. I'm going to just keep that a lean for now.
Well, let's move on to 7:05 p.m. Eastern. We have the Milwaukee Brewers at Philadelphia Phillies. Brewers 8-5, 3-3 on the road at the Phillies. 5-8, 3-3 at home at Citizens Bank Park in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. We have Freddie Peralta going up against Ranger Suarez, who was so spectacular last year and hasn't looked the same this year. And we've seen a lot of pitchers do that. They come up late. Now, I know the sample size is very small for Suarez this year, and there's no point saying, he's going to have a bad year or anything like that. But we've seen pitchers do that. They come up in the second half of the season, they're lights out. Well, Suarez was unbelievable. He was catching every first 5 for us. He was catching team total unders, everything we were getting from Suarez, and he's had a rough start. His last start was a win at the Marlins, but 5 innings, 6 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 homer, 3 walks, 4 Ks, labored through 5. He's a 1.96 whip. He had a rough first start of the season. So in 7 2/3 right now, just 5 Ks, 4 walks, and has allowed a homer. Freddie Peralta also getting off to a rough start this year. That last start at home versus the Cards was ugly. 3 innings, 7 hits, 6 earned runs, 4 Ks, 2 walks against a Cards team that's not really hitting righties that hard. He's 11.57 ERA, 2.29 whip. Neither pitcher looking good. And the Brewers don't hit lefties. This is a good chance for Suarez to get right. 167 batting average, 512 OPS. I wonder where Suarez is. I thought I looked this up this morning, but I don't, for whatever reason, I can't remember it. Maybe you could take a look at this for me, Bobano. With Suarez, is both his starts on the road or has he had a home start?
One was in Philly, and that was the rough start against the
Okay.
Mets. It was a rough start for him. 3 runs, 5 hits, 2.2 innings. Then he went to Miami, and it was a little bit better, at least. 2 runs, 6 hits, 5 innings.
Very, very
But
interesting.
remember, he was just lights out in his home ballpark last year.
He was spectacular.
Spectacular in Philly, and that was one bad start he made against the Mets this year. The Brewers can't hit lefties. This is the Phillies or nothing for me. I think I don't trust Peralta. Peralta, something's off right now for him. And he's pitched twice in Philly last year, or the last 3 years, he's pitched twice in Philly. Phillies won both games, 5-4, 7-4. Both went over the total. 7 runs and 8 innings allowed in this ballpark by Freddie Peralta. So this is Philly. This is over for me. Total of 8 as well. I'm going to lock those in, both official. Philly and over.
We're getting a nod of approval from Mr. Bouquet.
This is the game I was referring to earlier against your beloved Freddie Peralta here.
So you think that Freddie
can't
Peralta
hit lefties, Jimmy? It's horrible. Like they're right near the bottom in MLB right now, Milwaukee, against left-handed pitching. So it's the first thing that stuck out to me when I looked at this game.
Well, yes, the Brewers can't hit lefties, but are you, Jose, you're sitting here confident that Peralta's not going to get right here and is not going to, that card's obviously the huge rivalry between the two squads. Now he gets to go to Philly where there is not a rivalry, and you don't think this is an opportunity for him to get right against a team that's not really hitting very well.
Well, they're 12th against right-handed pitching, right at league average, but Nick Castellanos, 7 for 13, 4 doubles, a home run, 2 strikeouts. Kyle Schwarber, 2 for 6, a double, home run, 4 Ks. Bryce Harper, 2 for 7, 2 home runs. They all see him well. He's got worse home road splits, obviously, a 4.8 on the road, 163 innings pitched for Freddie. I was the one that told you that the Brewers were not going to win the division this year and they were going to take a step back. So unfortunately, one of those people that has to take a step back is Freddie Peralta. So I'm on the Phillies here. I was trying to decide what way I was going to take the Phillies. I actually have written down first 5 -0.5, plus 105, plus 110-ish. Phillies team total over 4, minus 105. Phillies first 5 team total over 2.5, plus 125. So I'm trying to figure out what one of those 3 ways I will be attacking Freddie Peralta.
My Philly bet is going to be the split as well. And Jose, I've done this a lot on your show too. First 5 full game, because we do have a 5 ERA bullpen in play here with the Phillies. That's not very good. So
that is also
split
why,
it up. A little protection. First 5 full game split for the Phillies here.
That's why I'm on first 5 too. I agree with you.
All right, well, let's lock in your action, gentlemen. First, we'll start with Bobano. Bobano is on the first 5. I have it at minus 120 here. Let's just see if maybe Circa could possibly beat
This
that.
has been a great stress reliever in my life with baseball betting, is taking these first 5 full game splits, because I got sick and tired of bullpens, really. I mean, it's just got to the point where it's like, enough. I've got to split these damn things up, with these teams, especially these teams that have unreliable pens.
I agree with you, Bobano, and I rarely take full games. Like I've realized in the last couple of weeks of betting, I don't take full games that often. And when I do, it is on a team like the Cardinals that have a lockdown bullpen, but it is pretty rare for me.
We can get you a minus 117 at Circa for the first 5. Let's get you a full game number here and see what maybe Circa giving us the best one. Is that possible? They have minus 122 over there. And here at Pinnacle, we have a.
By the way, if you like the first 5 under, Cardinals and Reds, you better get on that. 4 is going to under minus 120. It might even hit 3.5, and the full game total's down to 7.5. So this under is getting just absolutely blasted in that game.
Well, you are in business, Bobano. First 5 minus 117, full game minus 119. Those are the best lines I could find. If anyone can beat that, let us know. Jose, how are you hang this?
I like that verb. I think that's a verb. I don't know English. I think I'm just gonna go ahead and take the first 5. I guess that's what I'm leaning towards. I've had some spotty instances with first 5. They're pretty gross to me at the moment, but I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna ride it. They've been my wagon to success. They've been the bane to my existence at the same time. So first 5 -0.5 plus 110 on Bovada. I'll make that official. I'll tweet it out later too. But
I can beat that.
I will say that these fucking Phillies are a team that are frustrating, man. They're 5-8. They should have a better record, and I think that they'll want to right the ship at home.
Minus half. I can get you plus 115 at Pinnacle, so we'll give you that plus 115.
And by the way, Moose Money mentioning as far as his spin rates, he's a low spin rate guy. I think that there is a point of his low spin rates. You know, there are pitchers that, specify, or I guess I don't know what you call it, specialize, there's the word, in low spin rates. So I wouldn't worry as much about his spin rates. If he was a guy that was traditionally a high spin rates guy and he somehow took like a big dip, I'd be more worried about that. But I'm pretty sure he was always a low spin rate guy. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I wouldn't be too worried about that in this instance.
And yeah, Moose Money has him on his fade list. Speaking though of where the cash lies, it's 51% of the tickets on the Phillies and 84% of the cash. 43% of tickets on the under, 82% of cash on the under. And just take a quick. I think you guys are on something here. I gotta forget, my love of Freddie Peralta, because they get to him.
I will say that, worst case scenario in this instance, Ranger does get touched up a bit, but I'll take my chances in a slugfest, Phillies versus Brewers here. Just my opinion there.
Yep. That's also why I took the over, because there is some lingering doubt for me about Ranger, but it's tempered by Milwaukee putrid against lefties.
And Prince of the City just says, "Send me your Phillies money." So, and he's not a believer in Milwaukee.
No.
Just that he does not believe in Philadelphia.
He doesn't believe in any Philly team, yeah.
I think that first 5 Phillies might be the spot. And okay, I'm gonna think about that a little more. But we have Bobano on the Phillies first 5 minus 117, full game minus 119, and the say hey play of the day is Phillies first 5 minus a half at plus 115. Very interesting. Thank you for jumping in here, Jose. And Jose, sorry, jump back in for a second. Who is your special guest on the big say hey plays today at 5:30 p.m.?
Ian's other half, Connor Mack, back with me again. Every Friday, he'll be joining me. So it's nice. A Bobano, Connor sandwich on Thursday and Fridays. It'll be nice. Yep. Just right where they should be, right beside each other.
That's right.
Beautiful. And I get to make my say hey debut on Monday. So I'm excited about that. All right, let's move on to, and then we have Isaiah B is going to be live at the Mets Diamondbacks game, looking for some picks and a jack of the game as well. Let me just copy and paste that, Isaiah, for that breakdown so we can discuss that and have a great time at the game. That will, I can't wait to get to a game. Not at our shit stadium, of course, but, down in Detroit, I guess that's where I would go. Where is that Mets game here? I don't know. Okay, I'm just going to put that right here, Isaiah. Okay, let's roll on. Next up, we have the game that's been talked about a lot already on this show, as Kyle Hintley, fresh off a huge score on the A's, is betting against the Washington Nationals. And I am not betting against the Washington Nationals. In fact, I have bet on the Nationals first 5, and I got plus 110 on that bet. Let's see if the market is moving away from me here. It's down to plus 105. I'll take that as a positive sign. Look, I don't want to back Patrick Corbin. That's not something I want to do, but we know that the Giants can't hit lefties. Yes, Matty Ice, I can't wait to be down in Detroit. I'll be in touch with you for sure. These Giants can't hit lefties. They're hitting 156 with a 466 OPS. We already had Nutflush and others tell us bet against these guys when they're hitting, going up against lefties. Dabby Cab has the thumbs down for Corbin. Look, I get it, but his last start wasn't that bad at Pittsburgh against, and now I know that's a pitcher's ballpark, but against a team that is actually hitting okay against lefties. 5 1/3, 3 hits, 2 earned runs, 4 Ks, 3 walks. Now he's going up against a team that can't hit lefties at all. And it's a bullpen day for the Giants, and Sam Long will get it started. He's had 3 appearances thus far this year. He's looked very good. 2 2/3, no hits, no earned runs, 2 Ks, 0 walks. Eric Jones says Nats not hitting, though. They left a ton of guys on base yesterday against the Mets. And Kyle Hintley says Giants get to this horrible lefty. Real Deal Prime says fade San Francisco left-handed pitching all year. And DJ Big Boss is taking the under in this spot. So let's break it down and then hand it over to Bobano. Giants 8-5, 4-3 on the road. Nationals 6-9, 3-5 at home. We're at Nationals Park in Washington, D.C. We go over to that weather. First pitch, 72 Fahrenheit, blowing in at 5.9 miles per hour. Not very strong. Goes down to 5 for the rest of the game. We go over to the market movement. It took a little while for this game to come up because we didn't know who was going to pitch for San Francisco. We have it opening up as a pick'em, and at 8:53 a.m., the Giants take 20 cents to minus 130, 5 more cents at 9:40, minus 135. So very interesting that the market's been moving towards the Giants full game, but it's moved 5 cents towards the Nationals in the first 5. From a totals perspective, it opened up at 9.5 and has dropped down to 9. When it did drop down to 9, the over was juiced. Now that under is juiced to minus 125. So big movement to the under and big movement to the full game Giants. We only have 3,000 tickets in. 75% of the tickets and 93% of the cash is on the San Francisco Giants. Then we have 68% of tickets on the under. Bobano, take it away, Giants Nats.
Yeah, I want to fade Corbin badly. I really, really do. I'd lean San Francisco, but again, we're talking about, a clear issue hitting left-handed pitching. Clear issue for the Giants, as in they cannot hit them. It's been dreadful against lefties for them so far this year. I don't necessarily trust them fully, even against, I think, a very hittable lefty in Patrick Corbin. On the flip side, Washington does hit lefties. Historically, the last couple of years, Washington's been very good against lefties, and they're going to face Sammy Long here. Long. Sammy Long here for the San Francisco Giants, who I think is hittable as well a little bit. He's been kind of up and down so far. So actually, I can't bet over because I don't trust San Fran to hit a lefty. I can't bet under because I don't like Corbin very much. I'm all over the place, so it's pass for me.
A pass here for Bobano. A move for me. A wild market movement, heavy to the Giants full game, slightly to the Nats first 5. Domi says this isn't the same Nats team as a few years ago, but even last year they were hitting lefties. So Domi says let's not forget that the Nats are bad. They are bad. So look, I'm getting plus money on these Nats against the team that's just not hitting lefties at all. Washington just 2.8, 537 OPS. And then look, the bullpen is a huge 4.06 ERA, 1.39 WHIP for the
That reaction says it all. Ugh. Yeah, that's
the
why
discrepancy is ridiculous here. 1.99, 1.17, but I'm only on first 5. So there we go. We move on to the next spot on the board, and I made this bet. This was a bet that I made pretty confidently, and let's see what market movement has happened on it. And I took I said this would happen on the radio this morning, and it did happen. And I said by 9:30 or between 9 and 10 a.m., this will go down to an 8. I'm on the under 8.5 in Boston Red Sox, Tampa Bay Rays. I didn't get it at the right time either. It opened at minus 110. I got it at minus 120. It was available at Sports Interaction at the time, minus 114, which is where I gave it out on Mike Richards' Raw Mike Richards show. It's now at 8. It moved to 8 at 9:49 a.m., and that's what I wanted to see. Now, look, these are 2 veteran pitchers who have been suspect at times, especially Wacha, but pitching quite well right now is Michael Wacha. In his last start, it was 8-1 win at home over Minnesota. He went 5 innings, 1 hit, no runs, 5 Ks, and 2 walks. He has a 0.96 ERA, 0.86 WHIP, and 9 1/3, 9 Ks, 5 walks. And Corey Kluber is pitching decently. His last start at the White Sox, who don't hit righties very hard right now, 5 innings, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 homer, 4 Ks. And I think that both teams' bats are scuffling. Red Sox versus righties, 229, 643 OPS. Rays versus righties, 249, 710 OPS. Both bullpens are really good. Red Sox bullpen, 2.98 ERA, 1.15 WHIP. Rays bullpen, 3.60 ERA, 1.09 WHIP. Let's talk about this movement on the line here, which I failed to mention. The Red Sox open up as plus 110 dogs. Rays at minus 130. Rays are now minus 155, and the Red Sox are plus 135. So a movement there towards the Rays. Let's talk about the cash flow here. In this spot, we have 5,951 tickets in, and 27% of the tickets, 44% of the cash is on the Boston Red Sox. And then 65% of tickets, 97% of cash on the under. And I beat the market move, and I feel comfortable with that. Dabby Cap says Red Sox can't hit a beach ball. Johnny K likes the Rays. Big Boss says I need my money back from Boston. And Piker, who knows this Red Sox team well inside and out, knows all baseball teams, but especially his hometown Bo Sox, is on the under 8.5. Says Red Sox have 3 runs over their last 18 innings, despite 18 hits and 2 walks. Take it away here, Bobano. Little AL East battle. Sox Rays.
I have a small bet on Tampa money line, but the price has moved. I'm not making it official on the show. Not now. Not at minus 150. I'm not doing that. I like Kluber a little bit, and I trust him a little bit more than Waka Flocka Flame here for the Boston Red Sox. I know he's pitched pretty well first couple starts, but if you look at his track record against the Rays, how about an 8 ERA against Tampa Bay in the past? And this collective is hitting over 300 against Michael Waka. So bad numbers for him against Tampa Bay historically. I like the Rays here in this spot. Boston scuffling. I cashed against them, I should say, twice in the series against Toronto, scuffling a little bit, but I'm not making this official because of the price move. You know, when I bet this thing earlier, it was around minus 134, minus 135. It's up to, I'm seeing as high as minus 150, even minus 152, minus 160 even in a couple spots. So price has moved too much. The value's gone, in my opinion. I think Rays win the game, but now not at the price am I going to recommend it officially.
Yeah, I get that. I also kind of took the numbers Waka has against these Rays a little bit with a grain of salt, just because I like the way he looks right now. And there's been times when he's an insta-fade over his last 5 years. So I did do that a little bit. Cindy Plays Horses says, do you guys bet the NFL draft? We do bet the NFL draft. And especially when the pandemic hit, that's was our main focus, was the NFL draft. So we'd love to hear your action, Cindy. Man, Bear, Pig on Phillies first 5 minus a half. After hearing the breakdown from both Jose and Bobano, I can understand why you like that. I'm on the under 8.5, and look, I accomplished what I wanted to accomplish. I liked the under, and I felt like it was going to go down to 8, and it did. So let's move on. And by the way, Damon Santori says Waka found something at the end of last season with his pitch mix. I wish I had the data. Damon, and are you back in action, my man? I know that you had to get over COVID as well of recent. We're hoping that you're healthy and rolling. Okay, let's move. Oh, and Moose Money. I love it. God, it's great having Moose Money in chat. His Waka curve has looked great thus far, but I do worry that at the older age, he can lose a feel for it very quickly. Okay, let's roll. Oh, you were just updating. Okay, sorry. That's Man Bear Pig just updating somebody who's coming into the show late. We will go over all action. Don't worry about that. Okay, let's move on. Next up, 7:10 p.m., Colorado Rockies at Detroit Tigers. We're at Comerica Park in Detroit, Michigan. Man, I long to be at this baseball diamond. I long to be on the third baseline for $30, and I hope it's coming soon. We have cloudy at first, but then drizzle and light rain, and the light rain continues throughout the night. Opens with very, very tiny wind, 3.3 miles per hour in, and then moves to 5.1 slightly out and 2.8 in, kind of all over the map there. When we go over to the market movements in this spot, we have, let's pull this up. Where's Detroit? Here we go. There we go. We have Detroit opening up at minus 125, and we've seen a full 25-cent move towards Skubal, whom you know I love, and I loved his terrible start last year, and then we made nonstop money off of him because there was a lot of people who thought he was a terrible pitcher, but we knew that he was minor league pitcher of the year for that organization, and then he got right, and he's expected to be an ace of the staff. This total opened up at 8, and it's moved to 7.5. Now, Treek hasn't looked great to start the year, but he looked very good at the Royals in a pitcher's park when he went 5 2/3, 4 hits, 1 run. It wasn't earned, no walks, and 7 Ks. Much better than that first start of the year that was pretty ugly. Senzatella has looked good so far this year. He has been allowing some hits, but he has looked good. 9-6 win at home versus the Cubs. He went 5 innings, 7 hits, just 1 earned run, no homers, 2 Ks, no walks. He bent but didn't break. Rockies rating 281, 753 OPS versus lefties, which did give me pause. Why I'm not already on Skubal. Tigers hit 200, 594 OPS versus righties. Let's see where the cash lies in this spot here. God, where the hell are you? Here we go. 6,771 tickets in. 40% of the tickets, 80% of the cash on the Tigers, and market moving to them. Maybe I should have been on it already. And we have 55% of tickets to the under, but I guess they have more to study here. But at this point, they have a huge amount of cash on the over. I don't know if that is legitimate because it's not in yellow. Take it away here, Bobano. Rockies, Tigers.
I actually lean at the current price after the move to Colorado. But I'm not betting it. I love Skubal too much, just like you. He's a bet-on pitcher all the way for me. This is a Tigers team that I'm looking to bet on, not bet against. That being said, I think if you're going to bet this game now, Colorado's got some value. Senzatella's had a nice start. They're playing good ball. They're hitting well to begin this season, the Colorado Rockies. The bullpen's been really good, 3 ERA for the bullpen so far this year. Shout out, by the way, to Charlie Blackman, partnering with a sports book. Way to go. Charlie Blackman. Good stuff there. Colorado to me is playing good baseball. They're getting a decent price. I like the Tigers at a pick 'em price range. I like the Tigers when they're underdogs. I don't like them minus 150. For as much as I like Skubal, and I do, he's not someone I'm betting against. It's either bet on or I pass when it comes to this guy. I think he's very good. Although, Jimmy, you mentioned the lefty numbers for Colorado have been pretty good. Pretty solid this lineup so far against lefty pitching, so that does concern me a little bit. I like Skubal. I ain't betting against him, but I sure as hell am not betting on him at almost minus 150 against a Colorado team that's playing some pretty good ball and as a starter of their own in Senzatella, pitching with some confidence right now, 2.16 ERA to start the season. So it's a lean to Colorado at the current price, but I like Skubal and the Tigers too much to bet against them. But I think the value is with the Rockies now after the move.
Yeah. I get, by the way, Ron Crawford's spreadsheet play today is in, and he's with you guys on the Philadelphia Phillies. So Ron Crawford's spreadsheet play today is in. And Dommy Gun got on the Tigers at minus 126. Matty Ice talking about Slow's Barbecue, which I love so much. But Green Dot Stables, man, I just want to go down there, eat some crocodile, and drink some mint juleps. Man, come on. Yeah, I missed the boat, I guess. Did you have any concern with the way the Rockies have been hitting lefties and how they hit lefties last year and the year before? Did that concern you at all here? Is that part of the reason why there was trepidation initially and you didn't move on it?
Yeah, and the price, because this is a Rockies team that's had a nice, they're 8-4, 2-0 on the road to start the year. Colorado, this team's playing well at the moment. Will they keep it up? I don't know. But I like what I've seen. Chris Bryant's been a nice addition to this lineup. Even Grichuk, has started to pick things up lately. 2 for 4 in the last game for the Rockies, of getting him from the Blue Jays. Charlie Blackman, going to do. Connor Joe has been the leadoff guy, for much of the early part of the season. He's been productive at the plate. He's had 6 hits the last 4 games. So there's a lineup that's hitting. The starting staff's been better than maybe some people expected, and the bullpen's been good. So, don't tell Colorado these teams that were expected to be bad, but they're playing good. You don't fade them until you start to see signs to me of them starting to fall apart and fade and slow down. Colorado hasn't shown that yet. So I like Detroit. I like Skubal overall, and that's a team I'm looking to back. That's a pitcher I'm looking to back, not at minus 150 though.
Agreed. I don't mind. That price doesn't scare me that much. It's just you'd want a team that isn't capable of smashing lefties at this point. But Skubal's bet on, in my estimation, and I'm very interested in it. By the way, we all have different angles in capping, and we got to hang out with Nikolai Jubinski down when we did the Summit of Champions in Miami. By the way, we're never going to get to stay at that hotel again. If you ever look at the prices at the what the hell is it called again? The Diplomat in Miami, we got for $130 a night. You can't get there for under $500 a night anymore, ever. It gets up to $700 a night. It's crazy. So, but that I digress. And Jeff says I'm heading to Detroit. We all Big Show Picks will be there too. That is heaven to me. There's Red Girl in the house. Jeff, I just want to be in Detroit so badly. I love it there. So Nikolai, what he does is he takes these teams on the plus 4.5 line. And he calls it his clever risk-taking simple solution. He's on Cleveland plus 4.5, Boston plus 4.5, Padres plus 4.5, Rockies plus 4.5. And he makes a big bet on that, and that works out to minus 107. So, okay, let's move on to the next spot on the board. 7:20 p.m. Eastern, Miami Marlins 5-7, 1-4 on the road at the Atlanta Braves, 6-8, 3-4 at home. We're at Truist Park in Atlanta, Georgia. Trevor Rogers, Kyle Wright, and Kyle Wright finally the stud that was expected of him when he came into the show many moons ago. Rogers has looked awful thus far this year, coming in off a 10-3 loss at home versus the Phillies. He only made it 1 2/3 on 4 hits, 7 runs, no homers, 4 walks, and 3 Ks. Kyle Wright, though, not a great start last out. Well, 9 Ks in 5 innings. But he did allow 5 hits and 2 earned runs. He's pitching very well. 1.64 ERA, 0.73 whip, 15 Ks, 11 innings so far. Marlins versus righties, 247, 17 OPS. Braves, though, versus lefties, 266, 776 OPS. Let's start with the weather in Atlanta. 79 Fahrenheit at first pitch, 6.1 miles per hour in. Goes down to about 5 for the rest of the game. Stays in. We talk about the market movements here. Let me move this here. The market movement in this spot, we have the very little movement. The Braves opened up at minus 150. Initially 10-cent move last night towards the Marlins, and then back 5 cents. So they're at minus 145 right now, are the Braves. This total opened up at 8.5, and then 8 this morning. It went down to 8. Here we go. Oh, cash-wise in this spot, Miami, Atlanta. We have 8,271 tickets in, and the money's on Miami. 20% of the tickets, 53% of the cash, which is very interesting. 64% tickets on the under, 56% cash on the under. And all that cash on Miami is what gave me pause, and I didn't move on it and wanted to talk about it instead. Take it away here. Marlins, Braves, Bobano, floor's yours.
Yeah, I'm going to go Atlanta for first 5 full game split in this one. First 5 is right around actually minus 125. I see at Caesars. Let me see if what it is. I always like looking at Penny because sometimes you can get. I personally can get better. Yeah, minus 123 first 5 innings at Pinnacle for the Atlanta Braves, and full game. The best price out there looks to be about minus 130 right now. Caesars. So there we go. Minus 123, first 5, minus 130, full game Atlanta. I know the money's coming in on Miami, but I think for Atlanta, they've lost 2 of 3 against the Dodgers, 3 of 4 overall. They're back home after that West Coast road trip with the Padres and the Dodgers. They have an off day yesterday, to get themselves, acclimated again back home. I think they come out today, have a good game. Kyle Wright, as you mentioned, looks like a different pitcher this year. He's racking up the strikeouts. No question. He's had a terrific start. Even the last start, labored a lot, but still he's getting swings and misses. The swinging strike rate's off the chart. And really what he's changed his arsenal completely this year. When you look at the difference for Kyle Wright, he's abandoned a couple of pitches. He's added a couple ones. He's using his changeup more. That he says has given him a lot more success. And boy, we're seeing it. He looks like a different pitcher out there. Trevor Rogers, I don't think he'll pitch as bad as he did the last start, which was just a disaster. 7 runs, got knocked out of the box in the second inning in that game against Philadelphia. But, I have concerns here because there's an Atlanta Braves team, Jimmy, mashing lefties, to begin the year. 776 OPS, 266 batting average. Clearly they're better against lefties this year than righties. So that's a favorable matchup for the Braves. The one little concern I have is that Kyle Wright's track record against this Marlins team is awful. It's absolutely terrible. I think it's a 6.9 ERA. But all of those starts were the old Kyle Wright before he's made these adjustments, before he's introduced more pitch use, changed his pitch usage, thrown the change up more, changed some things with his delivery, changed some things with his adjustments. So put a grain of salt, I'd say that grain of salt with that 6.92 career ERA for Wright against the Marlins. That was the old Kyle Wright. He looks like a different guy here through 2 starts. So it still bothers me in the pit of my gut that he's been roughed up by the Marlins in the past, but I think he'll go out there, pitch well. He's pitching like a different guy right now, and I think the Braves can do some damage here against Rogers in this one, and a good spot too. They lost the last 3 of the 4 in the road trip. They're off day back home, and now a better price than it was earlier. So I like Atlanta here, first 5 and full game money line split.
I get it. That was minus 123 and minus 130.
That's right. Yep.
I get it. 4 days ago I would have bet it too. Just trying to have everything aligned now for me as we move forward after the tough start that I had. Dabby thinking about that Braves team total over. Moose Money thinking about putting Braves in a parlay. And okay, sorry. By the way, Atlanta is a spreadsheet play, but not a spreadsheet play of the day, which is the ones that we're tracking for our guy Ron Crawford.
Don't worry about the line moves, by the way. People say, oh, well, this line move here toward Miami, clearly they've got to be the right side. Was the movement for Boston a couple nights ago with Pivetta against Barrios? All that money came in on Boston. Did that work out well? Yeah. So there you go. Don't worry about the line moves. Cap the games.
I agree with you.
Stick with what you believe is right.
Bobano, I agree with you wholeheartedly. Another example of that was Shohei Ohtani versus the Astros the other night. All the money was coming in on the Astros, and Ohtani shoved it right up their ass. So, money movement, I've realized in baseball, is one of those things that I just kind of don't believe in anymore.
Important for you guys to trust your ability and trust your capping and believe in what works for you. I'm certainly not on the other side, but I'm doing a little test here. And throughout this, right now I'm 11-5 over the last 48 hours. So we do what's right and what works for each individual capper. And you guys are both finding success and keep doing what you're doing. Big shout out to Nikolai Jubinski. Thank you so much, my man. It was so much fun hanging with you down in Miami. Thank you so much for that $19.99 dono. It means a ton to us here at Pub Sports Radio. So thank you, my man. That means just an absolute ton. Okay, let's move on to the next spot on the board. And that spot happens to be none other than sweet. Taint! After a spectacular call on the Detroit Tigers yesterday, Taint is back in business on the White Sox money line at -105. Chicago White Sox 6-6, 2-4 on the road at the Minnesota Twins, 5-8, 2-4 at home. We're at Target Field in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Let's start with the weather in Minnesota. We have light rain within an hour of first pitch, and the weather is blowing in, and it's cold. 50 Fahrenheit at first pitch, 14.6 miles per hour in, down to 14.1 and 13.4 miles per hour. We move over to the market movement in this spot here. Let's pull it up. Sorry, let me just move this over. For this White Sox spot, Kopech versus Ober. The Twins open up at -115 favorites at Bet365, 5:14 p.m. At 8:19 p.m., they become a pick'em. When we move over to totals, this total opens up at 8 and drops down to 7.5. It dropped down to 7.5 this morning, and it's only been moving to the under. Let's see if the cash rolls with that movement towards the under in the White Sox game. We have 5,586 tickets in, 71% of the tickets, 82% of the cash on the White Sox, and then 53% of the tickets, 61% of cash on the under. We've seen it move from 8.5 to 7, 8 to 7.5, but we haven't seen the market move towards the White Sox. Kopech, 5 innings, 1 hit, 1 run, wasn't earned, 5 Ks, 2 walks, and a 3-2 win last out at home over Tampa. And he's looked quite good this year. 8 Ks in 9 innings, 0.78 whip with no home runs allowed. Bailey Ober, last start was at Boston. It was an 8-1 loss, but it wasn't on him. He looked good. 6 innings, 4 hits, 2 runs, none of which were earned. 3 Ks and 1 walk. 7 Ks, 3 walks, and 11 innings. Not getting the strikeouts, but getting some soft contact. Neither team hitting righties at this point. White Sox versus righties, 193 with a 541 OPS, while the Twins versus righties, 204, 626 OPS. We expected more from both of these offenses and haven't seen it yet. Will we see it tonight with the tough weather they're facing? Take it away, Bobano. White Sox Twins.
Yeah, this looks like first 5 under to me. It's a pass for me in this game. I actually like Ober. Ober, I think, has got some potential. It's not bad. He was very good in the last start against Boston. Both runs were unearned that he allowed in that game. And then, of course, unfortunately, the Twins bullpen happened in that game, and they ended up losing 8-1. But he actually pitched well before he left that game. Michael Kopech, I wasn't sure how this experiment, transitioning from the bullpen to the starting rotation to begin the season, would go, because I thought he was very good in his role in the bullpen, come in, flamethrower, give you a couple innings. But he stepped in here in the starting rotation for the White Sox, and he's had a pair of good starts to begin the season. 2 runs in 9 innings against the Tigers and the Rays to begin the year. White Sox won both of those games. He looks like bet on all the way. So I'm not involved in this. Twins are struggling at the plate. I mean, I was lucky as shit to get out of there with the win yesterday. The Twins' first 5 full game split with Joe Ryan. He had to be, laser sharp and letter perfect for the Twins to win that game. They just gave them no run support, no offense, and that's been the case lately for the Twins. They just aren't hitting at the moment. So I'm passing on this game, but I will give a lean and a nod to the first 5 under.
Well, Taint is on the White Sox money line. There's been no at this point. I guess that first, the market's already moved towards the under. What would I get that first 5 under at? Because I agree, Kopech has looked good. I think we can expect nice pitching out of Ober. Neither team hitting righties, but it's down to 3.5. That first 5 at my book. And if I wanted to build the 4, let's just see what it would cost me. Oh, sorry. Here we go. It would cost too expensive. Anybody need the -1 calculator? Just let us know. We'll pop it in the chat as well. And that works for, it's a -1 calculator is what it's called, but you can build anything you want with the calculator. All right, let's move on. And Dabby Cab, fresh off a spectacular performance on our show yesterday, is starting his card with the first 5 Astros -0.5 in Blue Jays Astros. And I like that look. We're at Minute Maid Park in Houston, Texas. Ross Stripling, I thought he was going to get touched in his last start. He didn't. It was his 3rd straight appearance at home, and he looked pretty good. Now he goes on the road. Last start, 4 innings, 2 hits, no earned runs, 3 Ks, no walks, and a 4-1 win at home over Texas. Going up against Justin Verlander, who looks lights out early, much to Jose Buget's chagrin, I imagine. 8 innings, 3 hits, 8 Ks, no walks, and a 4-0 win at the Mariners. He has a 0.69 whip through 13 innings, 15 Ks, 3 walks. Jays are hitting 261, 751 OPS versus righties, while the Astros are 206, 663 OPS versus righties. The Astros just aren't hitting. Let's see what the market has done with this one. We have the Astros opening up -165. At 1 a.m., they went to -170. And at 8:15 a.m., they went to -175. When you get to the total, opened up -120 to the over. At 8:15 a.m., it moved to -120 to the under. Now, it was slowly moving towards the under. So it moved at 10.25 cents, 1.25 cents, and at 8:15, 5 more cents. So now it's at -120 to the under. Let's take a look at the cash here. We have a 50-50 split with tickets and just 55% of the cash on Verlander. So it's a coin flip here, and 59% tickets, 89% cash on the under. And we've seen a 20-cent move towards that under. Take it away here, Bobano. Our Jays in action in Minute Maid.
Yeah, there's another pass for me, but Verlander's been very good. Obviously, very impressive. I mean, the guy is just like he's got the fine wine syndrome going, right? He gets better with age. I mean, he's had a nice start here for the Astros, no question about that. 1 run allowed in 13 innings of baseball against the Angels and the Astros to begin this season. Terrific for JV Justin Verlander, who, by the way, shut out the Blue Jays, complete game shutout and no hitter. In fact, when he last faced the Blue Jays back in 2019, that was a few years ago, but obviously pitched well there. Stripling was terrific his last start, or the 1 start he made this year. Actually, he's made 2 now, and he's not given up an earned run in 6 innings. So we got to give him his due. That in a starting role, he's been good. He did face the Astros last year in a starting role for the Blue Jays. In this ballpark, the Juice Box, Minute Maid Park, he didn't fare well. 3 runs, 6 hits, only lasted 3.2 innings. So he did struggle last year when he pitched here in Houston. So keep that in mind. Blue Jays playing well, but look, George Springer may not be in the lineup again today. He's still got that forearm issue. Teoscar Hernandez is still out for them. So, but still, a big series win against Boston, going on the road. It doesn't feel like a great spot for the Blue Jays. A little banged up, the lineup. Do I trust Stripling fully? No. Verlander's been great. I see why people like Astros here, first 5 especially. I'm going to stay off, though. Blue Jays have a little thing going right now that's playing good ball. The bullpen's been good. But I understand the people liking the Astros run line, why they do. For me, though, I'm going to pass.
It's expensive for me to back the Astros
That
first
too.
5.
Yeah.
I could back him first 4.5 though.
And they didn't swing the bats well at all in that last
No.
series against the Angels.
I'm getting offered a -125 on the first 5 -0.5. I could turn it into plus money on the -1. That might be a little more appealing to me at this point. I see why cappers are backing the Astros and Verlander, and I also see why cappers are backing the Jays with how well they've been playing. So maybe when it comes down to it, it ends up being a stay off. Matty Ice saying take the 4.5. Matty Ice, are you wanting to go under or over? That's why I guess it must be under because that's where the money's going here. That first, but I don't trust Ross Stripling. I especially don't trust him after he's looked so good. Let me just see what that first 5 under is. -125 as well. Dabby, if I could get the -0.5 and -110, I would move on it as well. And Joe Rich adding no runs first inning. Lou Chase Fox knows his Astros team inside out. Says bats are cold for the Astros, but they will hit tonight for JV. And we don't think Springer is playing. I do not think he's playing. I don't have that confirmation. Oh, I get it. Matty Ice says no, take the Astros in 4.5. That's probably better than the -1. You're right. Yeah. I think you're right. I think that's the first 4.5. It'll be my first 4.5 of the year. I think you're right, Matty. All right. That's what I plan to do there. C. James in the house. Man, Bear, Pig taking the Blue Jays a money line. Look, nobody has a problem with that, especially full game. But this Jays lineup is not what we imagined from the beginning of the year, but they keep winning series after series. Okay, let's move on to the next spot on the board. 9:38 p.m. Eastern. We have Darryl Rice, a.k.a. It's Darryl, joining us for NBA, and we plan to be in NBA in 17 minutes. So at 1:15 Eastern, 10:15 Pacific. Orioles, Angels Stadium, Anaheim, California. Bruce Zimmerman, 0 ERA through 9 innings thus far, 10 Ks and 4 walks. Last out, 5-0 win at the Yankees. He went 5 innings with 6 Ks and 2 walks, going up against young Reed Detmers, 8.59 ERA, 1.64 whip, 8 Ks and 7 1/3, 3 walks, 2 homers. In Reed's last start, he went 3 1/3, allowed 6 hits, 5 earned runs, no homers, 5 Ks, and 1 walk in a 9-6 win at the Rangers. The O's are not hitting lefties. We knew they hit them last year, but they're not hitting them this year. 225, 601 OPS. Angels versus lefties, 252, 698 OPS. So here we go. Let's first start with the weather in Anaheim, California. First pitch, it's cool, 63 Fahrenheit, but 12.4 miles per hour out to right, 8.1, and then down to 5. So if you're looking for offense, it's the first 5 innings where the wind is really carrying the ball. When you look at the market history here in this spot, here we go. We have these A's exactly where they opened, Angels exactly where they opened, -180. And from a total look, opened at minus, and the total exactly where it opened, slightly juiced to the over 8.5. We go to the cash flow in the Angels spot. We have 6,304 tickets in, and it's the Orioles. 23% of the tickets, 72% of the cash, but the market not moving towards them. And then 52% tickets and 73% cash on the over. Take it away here, Bobano. Orioles, Angels.
This is the Baltimore starting pitching staff has a 1.5 ERA. I can't believe that, but that's what they've done. They've been good, and Bruce Zimmerman hasn't given up a run, the lefty here for the Orioles this year. Yet the Orioles, here they are, despite this strong effort, better than expected effort from their starting staff at 4-9. So that tells you all you need to know about how their offense is really underwhelmed. It's the polar opposite of what anybody thought for the Orioles coming into this year. Everybody thought the pitching would be horrendous, the bullpen would give up runs, and the lineup would be at least pretty good, or at least decent. And it's been the opposite here for the Baltimore Orioles. Angels coming into this game, though, you look at it, they beat Houston 2 out of 3, got good pitching from Sandoval and Ohtani. I don't trust. I got it. Like I said with Reed Detmers, could he be good at some point? Yeah. Could the light switch, get flipped at some point? Yes. But it hasn't happened yet. He still looks like the Reed Detmers that struggled a lot last year. 2 starts this year. He's given up 7 runs in 7.1 innings, 9 hits in those innings, 2 home runs allowed, 3 walks. He just hasn't found it yet. for the LA Angels. I'd actually take Baltimore pass. I think this is a very attractive price for a pitcher in Zimmerman who hasn't given up any runs yet. Problem is, you got to trust the Orioles bats to hit somebody. They in theory could hit Detmers, but you mentioned it against lefties. Last year they were great. This year they stink. They cannot hit lefties. And so I'm going around kind of in circles with this game, but I'd rather take Baltimore at the plus price. This feels like a big number to be laying with the Angels with Detmers, who just hasn't been up to task yet.
Yeah, when will he be up to task? Is he too young for this opportunity? I wonder. I would like. Do you believe in what you've seen from Bruce Zimmerman?
Not fully, not fully. But he's somehow against the Yankees and the Brewers. 9 innings of shutout ball. He has given up 7 hits. But that's not terrible. 4 walks. You'd like to see a little bit better command. But I will say this: 10 strikeouts for Bruce in those 9 innings. So he is getting swings and misses. He is getting people to flail at his pitches right now. And that is obviously a positive for any starting pitcher. So it's one of those situations where I pump the brakes on betting against this guy. Let's see if he keeps this going. And in fact, for now, he's more bet on than bet against. And then when he has that rough patch, then maybe you go the other way. But right now, he's 10 strikeouts in 9 innings is pretty good.
There's no need to worry about taking the Orioles first 5 plus a half when we have all this volatility in this game. So you can take them for the big price.
You know what I do? I just take full game money line. Full game money line I'd take on Balder. Bullpen's been much better than people thought. In fact, it's been better than the Angels bullpen so far this year.
The only reason why, because you're right, a huge bullpen advantage for the Orioles. I just feel like the Angels' lineup advantage is so big that I would want to cut it down to 5 innings. I completely understand the idea that the Orioles bullpen's been better than the Angels, but what is the biggest advantage? Would you say that the Orioles bullpen's a bigger advantage than the Angels sticks? Because the Angels bats are my fear. Here. That's why I would want to cut it back to 5. Maxwelly asking if Trout is back. Let's see if these sites expect him to be back in the lineup here for the Angels. He's in the expected lineup. So, okay. Luce says the Angels bats are live. I lean towards Brucey, baby, in the first 5. But do I want to? And Reed still continuing to struggle. Okay. All right. I lean towards these Orioles first 5. Viper says, yes, he will be, is back. Okay. Let's move on to the next spot on the board. 9:40 p.m. Eastern. Kansas City Royals 5-6. 0-1 on the road at Seattle Mariners, 7-6, 4-2 at home. Eric Jones says 1-800-GAMBLERS if you're backing Baltimore. Yes, I have a terrible ROI on the Orioles, and I've backed them too often, as Viper knows. Viper knows well and good how often I've backed these fucking sad sack Orioles. All right, let's talk Royals Mariners here. T-Mobile Park in Seattle, Washington. Roof will be closed. Brad Keller going up against Chris Flexen. Brad Keller 0-1. We're going to need a graphic for Helen Brad Keller as well, Jose. We got the Helen Mitch Keller. We're going to need Helen Brad Keller. We're going to need them both, Keller 0-1, 1.38 ERA, 0.62 whip. Has looked excellent. 13 innings in his last start. He went 7 innings, 3 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 homer, 5 Ks, 2 walks. He looks very good. Very good. Flexen always makes me think of Maestro Fresh West, Bobano, the certs without the Retson, Chris Flexen. 6 innings, 5 hits, 3 earned runs, 1 homer, 3 Ks, 1 walk, and a 4-0 loss at home to the Astros. Royals are not hitting righties. 211, 595 OPS, and the Mariners are hitting righties okay compared to league average. 229, 707 OPS. Let's take a look at the market moves and then hand it over to Bobano. We have the Mariners opening up at -125, get up to -140. They're back at -130. And from a total look, it just moved to 7.5 from the 8 it opened up at. It opened up at 8, -120 to the under. It's now at 7.5. Moved there at 10:55 a.m. Let's take a quick look at the cash before we hand it over to Bobano. We have just 4,211 tickets in. 26% of the tickets, 62% of the cash on Keller and the Royals. 66% of the tickets, 59% of cash on the under. Take it away here, Bobano. Royals, Mariners.
Yeah, Flexen's usually pretty good in this ballpark in Seattle. This looks like maybe a first 500 to me. Keller's been good, and we knew Keller was probably better than he was last year. And last year it was just things didn't go well. He just a little bit of unlucky, misfortune in a lot of those starts. A lot of people saw that his numbers were better than what the results were for Keller last year, and he's gotten off to a nice start this year. But Cleveland, Detroit, 2 runs, 13 innings. I guess with the way Cleveland's been swinging the bat this year, that's not bad because they've obviously hit the ball better than people thought. But we'll see if he can keep it going here against Seattle, who were off a tough loss last night against Texas. I just think first 5 under is probably the best way to go here. Flexing good at home. It's not like Kansas City has been mashing the ball this year. You look at that Minnesota. You actually look at their last 6 games. They've scored 2, 1, 3, 4, 2, 0. So they've had their high water marks 4. All the other games they've scored 3 runs or less. So, and they've gone under, by the way, in 5 straight games, the Royals overall. So first 5 under. Didn't bet the game. It's not an official play, but lean first 5 under.
I could get that first under at plus 100, under 4. I find that appealing here. I like Brad Keller, and I like flexing at home. And it's his second straight start at home, which I like as well. And I think I move on that. I like that. I like that breakdown. All right, let's keep rolling. Almost NBA time. Next up, 9:40 p.m. Eastern, the LA Dodgers. LA Dodgers and Kenny Rogers wanting to me to back his squad here. Flexing better at home, says Moose Money. Viper is on the Mariners here. Max Willie liking the Mariners offseason moves. All right, let's keep rolling. Petco Park in San Diego, California. Julio Urias, 0-1, 3.86 ERA, 1.43 whip, 7 innings, 5 Ks, 3 walks, and a homer. Last start looked good. He looked good after a rough opening start for him. He went 5 innings, 1 hit, no earned runs, 1 walk, 5 Ks, and the 5-2 win at home over the Reds team that can't hit lefties at all. Moose Money says Dodgers smash. Nick Martinez on the bump for the Padres. Last start, he lost 5-2 at home to the Braves. He went 5 innings, 7 hits, 4 earned runs, 3 homers, 4 walks, and 3 Ks. Dodgers hitting 282, 823 OPS versus righties, and Padres are smashing lefties, 252, 808 OPS. So we're in Petco Park, and we know we have the marine layer there. Let's see what the wind is doing. It's 11.7 miles per hour in at first pitch, 60 Fahrenheit. It goes down to 6.5 miles per hour. We go over to the market that we are dealing with in this Dodgers-Padres game. Dodgers open up minus 165, go to minus 170. At 8 this morning, there was a 10-cent move back to the Padres. From a total perspective, opens up at 8, minus 115 to the over. That's where it is right now. Has not moved. And when we go to the cash in this spot for these Dodgers, just 5,586 tickets in. We have 77% of the tickets on the Dodgers, but just 43% of the cash, 54% of tickets on the under, 47% cash on that under. Take it away here, Bobano, Dodgers, Padres.
Yeah, this is over 8 for me. Dodgers and Padres. I like it. They're mashing lefties. Urias dropping velocity. That's a red flag to me. When I see that, maybe a sign of an injury on the way. Who knows? But that's always not a bet-on situation for me with any pitcher when I see a little decline in their miles per hour. We've seen that from Urias here in the first 2 starts. However, we know, and by the way, I should point out that Padres over 800 OPS against the Padres over 800 OPS against lefties. Same with the Dodgers against righties. We know for years they just crush righty pitching, and this is not exactly a righty pitcher I trust in Nick Martinez here for the Padres. He shut down the Giants in his first start. Pretty good start there for him, but last start was not good. 3 home runs. The long ball could kill you against this Dodgers team. 4 walks, 4 runs, 7 hits, 5 innings against Atlanta in his last start here at Petco Park. I think you get runs both ways. So, we're short on time, so I'm going to cut it off right there. Over 8, Dodgers, Padres.
I can get a minus 112 for you. Let's see if we can get one here over 8 at minus 112. Let's see what Circa's offering, if we can beat that very quickly here. And that we can't. It's moved to 8.5 over there. So let's get you that over 8 at minus 112. Market moving towards this over. All right, we move on. And Moose Bunny says worries definitely Urias injury, but we don't have great numbers versus him. C. James on the over 8 and the Dodgers team total over 4.5. And we move on. And Coin, by the way, saying Kansas City's played 6 straight games to the under. Yes, they're not hitting, and I'm going to be on that first 5 Under. Okay, let's move on to 9:40 p.m. Just 2 games left on this card. New York Mets at Arizona Diamondbacks, and we have our guy going to be at the game, and I did copy and paste that. Isaiah B will be live at the Mets Diamondbacks game. He's looking for some picks and a jack for the game as well. If anybody out there looking at the player versus pitcher or batter versus pitcher prop market sees a nice jack of the day for Isaiah, please share it with the chat or share it with Isaiah, who's in the chat right now. All right, we're in Chase Field in Phoenix, Arizona. So we're back in Arizona. So let's just quickly start by finding out the roof status, Diamondbacks roof status here. This will just take a second. Diamondbacks are very good at letting us know whether the roof will be open. Also, you guys know that there is this issue with the Diamondbacks roof. Oh, come on. Looks like this is not moving here. There is an issue with the roof this year in Arizona. They can't move it during the game. There's something wrong with it that they need to fix. And maybe they've done it now, but at this point, they can't move the roof during the game. So, or they can't close it or open. They can't change the roof status during the game. Here we go. Sorry, my one is not working. Let's get the roof status right here and show your face. Sorry, that's just taking a second here. I got too many tabs. Oh, here we go. The roof status for today is open. The roof is open.
It's almost always open in April in Arizona. At least that's what I've found historically.
Yes, but there was a cold front in the beginning of the year, so that first 4 games of the year, I believe, were closed. I still just want confirmation if we're going to bet totals. Last thing you want to do,
important at Chase Field. I agree. Check those roof conditions. Yep.
Bet a total and then realize that the roof is closed. So it's 74 Fahrenheit. Beautiful. Wow, not too hot in Arizona tonight. 74 Fahrenheit at 13.9 miles per hour left to right, slightly out. It goes down to 9.5. So it's slightly out left to right. And Isaiah B has says Mets just faced Gallen and he allowed 2 hits over 4 innings pitched. Says he has Mets first 5 in full game -110 and -120. So let's go right to those market moves in the Mets game. We have the Mets opening up at -130. They moved to -125. So very little there. A 5-cent move towards the Diamondbacks. This total opened up 8.5 at the pick'em. Just a 5-cent move towards the over. And when we look at the cash in the Mets Arizona game, we have 8,000 tickets in, 19% of the tickets, 21% of cash on the Diamondbacks, 63% of the tickets, but just 44% of cash on the under. So some big bets coming in on the over with David Peterson going up against Zach Gallen. David Peterson has yet to allow an earned run this year in 8 1/3, 7 Ks, 4 walks. Would love to hear what Domi has to say about this game. Domi, who are you moving on this one? He says Carrasco 8 innings with Miguel and Bassett. Buck let them pitch, so Mets pen is ready and rested. Says Peterson pitching well. Diamondbacks off a bad road trip. He's on the under 4.5 first 5, and would probably trust at least the Mets full game if that bullpen is fresh. Matty Ice though says Diamondbacks own Peterson. Zach Gallen, both these pitchers have yet to allow an earned run. Now, Gallen's only thrown 4 innings so far, and it was a 3-2 win at the Mets, so he's facing them right back. Mets first righties, 278, 800 OPS. Arizona just 179, 607 OPS. Take it away here, Bobano. Second to last game on the card, Mets, Diamondbacks.
So there's basically 2 pitchers that I would want to back on Arizona. One is Merrill Kelly, and I've been doing that. This has been great. I mean, a couple of big underdog bets with him already for me this year. And this is the other guy, Zach Gallen. I think he's capable. I did take him, I believe, in that win that he got. Now, this is an interesting game because these teams played each other last weekend. The Mets saw Zach Gallen last weekend in that series, and the Diamondbacks saw Peterson in that series last weekend. So this is a pretty quick turnaround here. They just saw each other. The Mets with Peterson on the mound got a 5-0 win over Arizona. The Diamondbacks with Gallen on the mound last weekend got a 3-2 win against the Mets. So the Mets beat the Diamondbacks with Peterson, and the Diamondbacks beat the Mets with Gallen pitching for them last weekend. So it's an interesting dynamic. You would think, I think this could be a sneaky over 8.5, but with the roof open, these hitters, these lineups are seeing the same pitchers twice in the same week, and it was, they struggled. Obviously, it goes without saying the Diamondbacks didn't hit a lick off Peterson. Gallen neutralized the Mets last weekend, but second look in less than a week, roof is going to be open. based on what Jimmy said. So this could be a sneaky over here, 8.5. I'm not making it official yet. It's just things that I don't have a strong feel. And I did cash a ticket with Gallon. And to me, he's kind of a bet on guy. Now, again, those stats that Matty Ice is mentioning with Eli, long term, he's got an 11 ERA, Peterson against Arizona. It's really ugly, really bad for Peterson long term against Arizona. But we also can't ignore the fact that last weekend he faced this Arizona team and he pitched really well in that start against the Diamondbacks. So he pitched well. So a lot of that is historical, not so much this year. He pitched great against the Diamondbacks. So it's a really, really interesting game. I think it's a tricky game. I lean Arizona. I actually lean over 8.5. But right now I'm going to just pass on both.
Understandably so. And I would, if
I know our guy Sharpie, who's of course baseball is one of his things, top sports. There's no doubt about it. The work he puts in is great, especially with the props. Sharpie buys into this angle where it's two pitchers that maybe pitched well against that lineup the one time, and they're facing that same lineup in like a 7-day span, less than a week. He feels the lineups have a better approach and have more success in that second time. So be aware of that tonight. Again, this is a second look for the Diamondbacks against Peterson in less than a week, and a second look for the Mets against Gallon in less than a week.
Yeah, I would be on the over. I would be on the over if Domi wasn't on the under, and these pitchers have been very good so far this year. It just doesn't correlate enough for me. But I agree. I'd like the zigzag approach to seeing a lineup for the second straight time. They look great early. I would like to fade, or look great last week. I would like to fade them this week, but I will not do that at this point. I just don't feel like everything is aligned for that. So I'm going to stay off that game. Isaiah B also taking Lindor with a hot bat, returning to Escobar with the Jack 2. Have an incredible time. I have a great time, Isaiah B. Enjoy every second of it. I wish I was sitting right beside you with a big, giant beer in my hand watching this game as well. Final game on the card, 9:40 p.m. Texas Rangers at Oakland Athletics. Rangers 3-9, 2-4 on the road. Got off the schneid, you could say, with that comeback win yesterday at the Oakland Athletics, where Oakland Coliseum in Oakland, California. Let's start with the weather for this final game on the card. 58 Fahrenheit at first pitch, 12.2 miles per hour to right, then 10, and then 8. You know the wind swirls over there in the Bay, so don't put too much attention to it. We have two young, highly thought of pitchers going up against each other in Glenn Otto and Adam Oler. This is Otto's first start in the show this year. He has started twice with Round Rock of the PCL League in AAA, and he's looked good. Now, he's only gone 7 innings in those 2 starts, but 9 Ks and 1 walk with a 0.429 whip for Round Rock. And last year, he was very good in AAA Round Rock. He looked very good, 2.70 ERA in 4 starts, but then he came up to the show and he struggled. So will there be a difference this year for Glenn Otto? And he was a big part of last year's trade deadline. He was a 5th-round pick by the Yankees out of Rice University, and 26 years old. This is a huge start for this young man's career. 26 years old. It's time to go. Now going up against Oler, who did not look good at Toronto. 3 1/3, 5 hits, 3 runs, 2 earned, 3 walks, 3 Ks. He struggled thus far. Rangers just 216, 568 OPS versus righties, while the A's 226, 42 OPS versus righties. Fat says, I'm more than happy to bet Texas first 5 with Otto. And I find him appealing as well. But then we're betting on this guy who looked so good in AAA to finally turn it on as a 26-year-old, which I get. Texas taking a ton of, not that much, 15-cent move. Opened at 5:14 p.m. yesterday, -120 now, -135. And when we go over to the cash flow here, we have just 4,627 tickets in, and we have 62% of the tickets, 67% cash on the A's, and 75% of tickets, 81% cash on the over. Take it away here, Bobano. Final game on the card. Then we move on to NBA, Oakland Coliseum, Rangers A's.
Yeah, I lean over 7.5. Do I want to make this official is the question. I'm on the fence because I think this is a game where, based on everything I've seen in the past, Otto, I don't trust at the major league level just yet. And he got absolutely destroyed by Oakland in the Coliseum in September last year. 8 runs, 3.1 innings, 10-5 win for Oakland. I got to see it before I believe it with Glenn Otto. On the flip side, Adam Aller here for Oakland, a guy that they think has got some promise, some long-term upside. Is he realizing it yet? I don't think so. He's given up 8 runs in a little over 4 innings against Tampa and Toronto. 2 pretty good teams, obviously. 2 pretty good lineups. It's not like Adam Aller faced a very easy start to the season, those 2 teams on the road, but not very good in either one. It's not like these are bullpens we trust. Texas 5.04 ERA, especially not good. Oakland's bullpen's actually been okay, but yeah, I'll make this official over 7.5, especially now that it's 7.5. I'm going to go ahead with it. Over 7.5 minus 110 at DraftKings. These are 2 guys that have not shown ability to get outs at the major league level consistently yet. Aller struggled in 2 starts. Otto wasn't great last year. We're banking on them turning a corner. We're banking on them maybe getting it at some point. I'm going based on what I've seen, and what I've seen are 2 guys struggling right now at the major league level. So 7.5, kind of like yesterday with Baltimore, Oakland. You're getting these low totals in Oakland with some mediocre pitching. Take advantage of it. So Rangers A's over 7.5.
Over 7.5 for Bobano. If I had gotten off to a strong start this year, I would try to catch a falling knife with Otto. 26-year-old, it's do it now or fucking lose our numbers, because you're not going to be in the MLB for long. He has to do it now. JPZ liking that spot. Coin liking that spot. All right, I am not going to move on that spot. Let's review MLB and then bring on our guy, Darryl Rice. It's Darryl for NBA. We start with Bobano on the over 7.5 in the Pirates-Cubs game due to inclement weather that's being moved to tonight. It's on the over 7.5 minus 110. The first 5 under 4 in Cardinals Reds is the say hey play of the day. Guardians Yankees, we are off, and a lot of love for the Phillies. Ron Crawford spreadsheet play of the day. Bobano, Phillies first 5 in full game. Say hey play of the day number 2 is Phillies first 5 minus a half at plus 115, and I get it. And I'm interested, but I would only want to focus on Suarez over Peralta, even though Suarez hasn't looked that good. I'm thinking of moving on the Phillies first 5 with you guys. Then Giants, Nationals, no action. I moved on the under 8.5 in the Red Sox Rays this morning very early. It's now at 8. Rockies, Tigers. Rockies, Tigers is next up. No action for us. Bobano's on the Braves first 5 in full game. Taint play of the day is the Chicago White Sox money line at minus 105. Domi Gun Ricci, who on Tuesday went 10-0, on Wednesday went 5-0, has locked in these plays. Tigers minus 126, Phillies minus 120, White Sox minus 105, Mets first 5 under 4.5, Tampa first 5, Nats first 5 under 4.5. Dabby Cab is on, and Dabby Cab had an exceptional performance here on his first show yesterday. He's on the Astros first 5 minus a half, Dodgers first 5 minus a half, and first 5 Texas, Oakland over 4 plus 101. And those won't be official picks for the show. Only when someone's live as a guest will I track them. I'm going to move on the first 4.5 for the Astros at plus 105, expecting Stripling not to continue his nice start to the year now that he leaves the confines of Rogers Stadium. The first 5 for the Orioles, I feel like I need to keep fading Detmers at this point. Will he get right here? It's a possibility, but I feel like the O's at plus 145 is a number I can't pass up. The first 5 under 4 in Royals Mariners, I'm going to put that together with a 4.5 and a 3.5, which will give me an even money spot. Bobano's on the over 8 at minus 112 in Dodgers Padres. We are both off the Mets Diamondbacks. Bobano closes his card with the over 7.5 and Rangers A's. Bobano, does that sound all right, my man?
That sounds good to me. Let's see if we can cash some of these.
Let's go. Let's go. There's Jimmy Gomez announced. What a call by Jimmy on the Flyers last night. Yeah, I was on the other side, even though it was one of just 3 losses and 12 bets in the NHL. But Jimmy, my man. Great stuff, Bobano. Love having you on the show. I look forward to these Fridays very much. Thank you for joining us. Follow our man Bobano on Twitter at Bobano. Bobano, any last words for the great capper supporting the show before we get into NBA?
It's always fun being with you, Jimmy, on a Friday. A great job by everyone in the chat, capping the card, helping us out. Darryl coming up. He'll do a great job breaking down the NBA card, and I'll be back with the Pub Hub, 4 p.m. Eastern.
4 p.m. Eastern for NBA Pub Hub, and it's 7 days a week right now. 7 days a week. Please welcome your next guest as we move into the NBA playoffs. And man, has he been excellent this year? Our man Darryl, 83 wins, 62 losses, hitting at 57.2%, plus 16.82 units in ROI, plus 11.60%, average line minus 103. He has been spectacular this year, and he's a lot of fun to cap with as well. The winners are most important, but the fun factor of capping with this man is also a big part of why we love him so much. Please welcome to the show, direct from Los Angeles, California, it's Darryl in the house.
Yo. Yo, what is good, Jake? What is good, man? Another good day on this side of the grass, right? Another good fucking day. Any day on this side of the grass is a good day, dog. I am happy it's Friday. I got my blue moon today. I got something different.
Oh,
right?
nice.
So, yeah, not trying to go too big, but I thought I'd pop a little can open. Salute to everybody in the chat. Thanks for being here. It's another day to get some money, man. Feeling good today, dog. Feeling good today. So let's do it.
Yeah, I feel real good today too. It's just thankful for this opportunity to cap with you and to cap with these cappers in the chat that support us so much.
Yeah.
Jay Peasy gets us started by saying, it's Darryl. Man, we are blessed to have this guy share his knowledge with us.
Appreciate that, brother, man. He's a loyal dude. I you know, so this is how I work my Twitter machine. I know I get a lot of slack because I don't follow a lot of people, Jay, right? It takes me a while to kind of follow people. So that's, it's kind of off like that, because what I do generally is just tweet. And then from there, I'm just off of it, right? So I don't do a lot of interacting on there, but sometimes I'm late to the party, especially when I'm drunk. And that way I'll go back and I'll just scroll. I'll just mindlessly scroll. And I noticed something about Jay Peasy, man. The dude, first off, is a very avid, loyal listener, right? And he's a working man. So it's cool to see him. I think I saw one post where dude had his laptop up and everything. He took a hit, bro. He's like, now it's just time to sit back and just listen. So it is, even though I'm late to the party, right? It's always a good feeling to know that people are inspired by your capping and by your knowledge. So my head is already big enough, but it really makes me feel good, bro, when there's people that will just shout me. I'll be like, yo, Darryl, that dude's a good capper. Because 2-3 years ago, man, I was in the nosebleeds, right? Just in the lab trying to learn how this game works. And a lot of sleepless nights, a lot of losses. And so it's just all coming to fruition. So first and foremost, to all the guys, and I always get in trouble when you start naming names, right? But to all the guys, this is for y'all. I appreciate y'all. Thank you.
It's well put, Darryl, and love Jay Peasy too, and there's a real family vibe to what we do here, and we try to just put our blinkers on, not focus on any of the bullshit that's happening out in the world, because there's a whole lot of it. We focus here on the sports, what brings us joy. And Uncle Oliver, he's not just like JP's. I love Uncle Oliver so much. He says greatest cappers come from this family. Let's get to work, Darryl.
How do you do it, Jimmy? Let's get to work.
Let's get to work, my guy. We start at 7 p.m. Eastern. The East first round, game 3. Miami leading the series 2-0. We're in State Farm Arena in Atlanta, Georgia. The pace in the series is at 98.50 possessions a game. Let's start with the market movement in this one. We have the Heat opening up at -2.5. That was 3 days ago at 11:36 p.m. The following day, about 12 hours later, they get to -2. Then 9 hours after that, -1.5. Then yesterday at 3:30 p.m. down to -1. And then this morning, very early at 1:17 in the morning, they moved to -1.5. So market moving towards the Atlanta Hawks. Let's see if the cash is moving towards the Atlanta Hawks. 22,155 tickets in, 31% of the tickets, 36% of the cash is on these Atlanta Hawks to fight back in this spot. 72% of tickets, 97% cash on the over. So why don't we take a look at the over and see if that's climbing? And it is. It opened up at 220.5. Initially, it went down to 220. Then it shot up at 9 in the morning 2 days ago. Wednesday morning to 221.5. Dropped to 221. Is back at 221.5. Here we go. G. Martinez looking at the Heat. Astute Chaos is on Miami, Atlanta. First half over -114. And do keep an eye on our guy, Astute Chaos. God, he's a great capper.
Dude is great.
Copy and paste Astute's looks here. So teams that take 2-0 leads win the series 92.9% of the time. Hawks have never come back from an 0-2 deficit, and the Heat have never lost when taking a 2-0 deficit. They're 17-0 in series wins. But the Hawks have won 20 of their last 23 games at home, and they have lost 5 of 6 games against the Heat. They have to bring it tonight. The whole season's on the line. Jimmy Butler dominating, 33 points a game, 5.5 rebounds, 4.5 assists in the series. And where is Trae Young at? Usually when he comes back to Atlanta off a couple poor performances, he steps up in a big way. Just 16.5 points, 5.5 assists, and he had 10 turnovers, 10 of them. McMillan moved Herter to guard Lowry. It worked. Lowry was held to 9 points and 2 assists. Dennis Garcia says Atlanta first quarter. THC is on Hawks first half and full game. Vipers on the Hawks first quarter and Heat full game. Here we go. Take it away, Darryl. First game on the board. Heat Hawks.
Let's just get this out of the way. You ready for this?
Yeah.
You ready for this?
Yeah.
Give me Atlanta Hawks first quarter minus I don't give a motherfucking shit what the spread is. You ready for this? Here's my analysis. I don't give a fucking shit. I don't give a fucking shit. So yeah, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fucking shit. I don't give a fucking shit what the spread is. Yeah, I feel solid about that. So this is what you have to understand about the playoffs. You can't do that much experimenting in the playoffs, right? So it hurts when you have players out. What's going to hurt Miami tonight really is the PJ Tucker news, right? I don't know if he's in. I don't know if he's out. But the problem is he's not healthy. Atlanta is a different beast at home. And we know that they're going to come out on fire, at least in the beginning of this game. Now, if you look at the totals on this game, Atlanta actually scores more points than Miami in the first quarter. They've done it for the season. And this is inclusive to them already playing each other, 4 or 5 times already. So what you have to do also is look at what the books are telling you, because the books always tell you a story. The lines will always tell you a story. And the books have been right for the most part. And what do they have about this game right now? They have Atlanta as the favorites for first quarter, first half. And they have Miami as the favorites full game. So you can see how the lines swap again to where it's not a trifecta spot by Miami. And to some degree, the books are thinking that Miami is going to not come out as quick of a pace as Atlanta will at home, because Atlanta does have the advantage at home, especially in the first quarter. This is why their point totals in the first quarter are more than Miami's. And this is what you do. This is the time that you capitalize on a Miami look, or excuse me, on an Atlanta look. So if I were you, I would get in and get out of this game. Something about these games today where all these lines are short. They're all short, right? And so you got to understand this is going to be zigzag games happening, probably all 3 games. I do believe Atlanta is going to win this game. Right? Because you're going to have better play out of Trae. But at the same token, I believe where the money is right now is to take Atlanta first quarter, because this is where they dominate. So I do like Atlanta first quarter. I got it at -0.5 point, at -110. I do believe Atlanta's going to come out a little on fire today. So Atlanta first quarter minus I don't give a fucking shit what the spread is.
I can't get you that -0.5. I can get you -1 at -107. That half is moved to -119.
Yeah, I'll take the -1. I'll take it. I think you're looking at a 30-27 game in the first quarter.
Dennis Garcia on the same look as well. So you are in very good company.
Who's that?
Dennis Garcia.
Oh, hey, Dennis and I aren't really on the same side often, but I think the times we have been on the same side, I think we're on the same side with the Memphis game. We cashed that easy. So shout out to Dennis, man. I like that he's on that first quarter. I was real adamant on that, so I did step on it.
Let's touch on the total here as we have no Capella. So we've seen a small lineup being brought out here. And we had, who was it here? I was reading the chat and let me find it, but we had a capper. Was it Luchase Fox? Yeah. It says Hawks will come to play, but no Capella. They are tiny. With them being tiny and the now Herter playing on Lowry and no PJ Tucker, does all this kind of move towards more offense? Now this pace is at 98.5 possessions a game, so the efficiency will have to be pretty high for this to get over this 221.5 total. What do you think about the total if you had a free play on the over under? And I know that you like to focus on sides and look, whatever you've been focusing on, you're hitting at 57.2% plus 16.8 units with an ROI in double digits, so you've been spectacular. So I don't want you to sell yourself short with your, because I do track all your plays, and I was tracking winners that you've given out with totals, and I know that you're pensive around it, which is all good. But if you had a free bet on this total at 221.5, $500, would you go over or under and talk about the issues without Capella on the floor?
Yeah, so you have to go over. You have to go over on this because it is a certain aspect of small ball being played, right? Because this game is going to go from outside in versus inside out, right? That's how it's going to work, especially if Trey gets hot. Now, we're probably talking about a completely different game, right? If Trey was like 2 for 10 from the three, right? And Jimmy Buckets has to give you a career high of 45 points in order for them to win. So the matchups are right there. You just need what we always hear, that common terminology, these glue guys to step up. Atlanta is deep, right? They are deep, man. So it's just right now a matter of getting these guys involved. Trey himself has got to make shots, and he's got to make them early. And if he's making shots early, you're going to see these early timeouts by Spoelstra trying to make the adjustments. So you need Trey to come out early. You need a little bit of work from Collins. I just really, really think that this is a Hawks spot to where they come home and at least are able to get a game, and they're going to put a lot of points up. So I do believe, I like Uncle Oliver. I appreciate you, bro, but I do believe this game can go over. I do believe this game can go over because you're missing some defenders there on primarily PJ Tucker, who's going to guard the wing, right? So now you got Bog who can get involved. You got Hunter who can show up. He's kind of streaky, but he can show up here. You still even got Okongwu who can crash the boards, right? And make some cleanup shots. So there are still guys who can get involved, but I just really believe that you're going to see an Atlanta Hawks team really try to set the tempo and set it early. That's why they're favorites according to the books. The books think that they're going to come out hot, and that's why they think that Miami will make those adjustments and eventually win the game. But yeah, in order for this to be a game and go over, you got to see Atlanta come out hot. So I would still stick with the over in this game.
The official pick from Darryl. I don't give motherfucking shit what the spread. Did you say mother? Was there a mother in this one?
There's a mother in this one.
Okay,
there's
all right,
a mother in this
one. -1 first quarter Hawks at -107, and I am very interested. I'm very interested, and I think I will pull the trigger with you guys. The Raptors took care of it very easily. The Bucks did not. So here's our third opportunity to do this here in short succession. Let's move on. 8:30 p.m. Eastern, East first round, Milwaukee Bucks at Chicago Bulls. Game 3, series is tied 1-1 in United Center, Chicago, Illinois. The series is being played at 101 possessions a game, and I have moved on the Milwaukee Bucks first quarter and
Yes.
full game.
Yes.
I do not want them. I do not want triple ups right now. I just feel a little nervous having that much money on a game at this point with and everything's going very nicely and very smoothly, and I just don't want one game to hurt me too much. So, but I do understand people moving on the Bucks trifecta. Let's start with the line history in this spot. And when I bet it also, it was this morning. Bucks first quarter, I got -0.5, and I got full game -2.5. So I was not beating any market moves in this one because this opened up with the Bucks -1.5, and it went up to 2, and then back to 1.5. And then it went to 2.5 yesterday at 3:03 p.m. and then back to 2 for about 3 hours. So I had a chance to get in at 2. I don't think it's going to hurt me, but every half point is so important, and we will see. This total opened up at 223.5, went to 223, and is now at 222.5. So it's gone down 1 point. When we go over to where the cash lies, we have 21,537 tickets in, and we have here 32% of the tickets on the Bulls, 39% of the cash is on the Bulls. Then we have 60% of tickets on the under, 72% cash on the under, and moving towards the under. 114-110 victory in game 2 for the Chicago Bulls. They shot 49.4% from the field. D-Row went for 41. That's a career playoff high. And after going 21 of 71 for 29.6% from the field, the DeRozan, Vooch, and Levine, they went 33 of 62 for 53.2%. And now we have the Chris Middleton sprained MCL on this left knee that we are dealing with, and that will also be prevalent in the next game we talk about in the Suns game with Booker also hurt. Middleton, 20.1 points, 5.4 rebounds, 5.4 assists, and there were 16 games where he was unavailable this year, and they went 7-9 in those games. Giannis continued to play well, 33 points, 18 boards, 9 assists, and Bobby Portis left the game with the eye abrasion, but he's not on the injury report. He should and expected to be good to go. Look, Middleton's going to not being available is really going to hurt them in the next round. I think they can take care of business here, and I'm expecting them, and I'm betting on them to do so. Take it away, Darryl. Bucks, Bulls.
Yeah. I think you're on the right side with Milwaukee first quarter. I'm going to step on that. I already have. I got Milwaukee. And I think that one was -1. So what you have here, what you have to understand about how playoff works also is it's really hard to make second and third adjustments without going back to the regular scheme of things when you're playing in the playoffs. Now, you're not going to see a bad shooting night from Milwaukee like that. Right, they shot 32% from the field. And at the same token, you're not going to see Chicago shoot almost 50% from the field. So now that Budenholzer knows that Chris Middleton is out, you make those adjustments, you look at your scouting reports, and you see what you got, and you know that you're not going to have Middleton involved. So how are you going to work your offense? The way you work your offense really is through Giannis. Because they can't really build a wall against Giannis. They can't really do that against Giannis. From there, you've got to get some kind of play out of Drew, right? And you got to get some better play, if you ask me, defensive-wise, out of Grayson Allen. I know he's a glue guy, but you start going deep into the bench here. And so everybody has to step up for this. But you got to understand that a lot of the responsibility now is going to be on Giannis. And for whatever it's worth, man, I think there was something that said Caruso played really good defense on Giannis. That's not going to happen 2 games in a row. That's not going to happen. So this is a point in time where you're going to have a superstar take the game over and show you why they're the champions. So you go back to the well because you know this is another team that averages for the season more points than the other team, right? And the line is thin enough now to where you can step on that team. Not only that, but how they play in the first quarter and in the first half for the season shows that this is a promising line for the Bucks to at least come out on top in the first quarter. Now, I always try to look at ebbs and flows, if you will, right? And Chicago, in my opinion, plays better from behind. They play better from behind. They don't really take a game wire to wire. You saw that happening in the beginning, and I would say that if Lonzo Ball was in the mix, but he's not there. And so now, because you don't have your set pieces, you're going to have to, on Milwaukee side, you're going to have to make those adjustments, and you can make the better adjustments with Milwaukee than what Chicago has right now. And for God's sakes, somebody get a body on Williams. Somebody get a body on this man. This dude was shooting corner threes all game. Get a body on him and stop those extra points that you know, help on your rotations. You know what I'm saying? These things are going to happen where there's going to be a lot of pick and pops. There's going to be a lot of different cuts to try to get Giannis out of the paint. And so I think you're going to see the adjustments here, but a lot of this game is going to be on Giannis, and he is going to play. People are a little afraid because how Atlanta is at home and away they're like two different teams. You could say the same thing, Jimmy, for Milwaukee. How they play away and how they play at home are very, very different. This team is not in any kind of disarray. Budenholzer is a great coach, and I think you got to get Milwaukee where it counts. And so you go back to the well with another short line and take Milwaukee Bucks in the first quarter. Milwaukee Bucks -1 is official play for me in the first quarter. Then we'll see how this game plays out.
-1 is -104. Do you have any interest in making it -0.5 at -117, or do you prefer the low vig?
I can get the push. I'll do the low vig.
Okay. We are locked in for Darryl. By the way, Ron Crawford spreadsheet play of the day is Milwaukee money line, and
Really?
Darryl is
he? How does he feel about the first quarter and full first half?
Well, he's in our chat, so we will hear. Ice Wolf says, "What do we think about Giannis props for tonight?" Let's.
They got to be juiced. They have to be juiced at this point, right? So his PRA or his points, he's probably in the 30s for points.
And with Middleton out, we have Cappers in the chat thinking that his assists will go over without Middleton in the lineup. Let's see what his player props are as we speak right now. Giannis's points are at 34.5.
Yeah. What's his PRA?
That's juiced to the over as well. 34.5 juiced to the over. Yeah. I still in my life have never taken anything over 29.5 in my entire life.
And that's what I'm saying, Jay, is when I cap, man, I look at the lines because you always just have to assume that they're right. This is why that's why they have these big buildings and they make millions and millions of dollars, because the majority of the time they are right. They're taking into account that Middleton is out, but you also know that this game is going to evolve around Giannis just going off. And this is why you see him in the 30s. In the beginning of the year, he was in the 30s a lot, because he was scoring his ass off. So now you understand that they really can't build a wall for Giannis, but a lot of this game is going to be around him getting in the paint, getting dunks, getting back on defense. And so that's why you see it juiced to the over, because he is going to hit it. I would look at Brook Lopez threes. If it is Brook Lopez at 1.5 or 2, I'd jump on it.
It's 55.5 points, rebounds, and assists, by the way. And that's
crazy.
Also juiced to the over.
Yeah.
Let's talk about threes here. I thought I just had it up here. Threes here for Brook is at 1.5, and it's only -120 to the over.
See, that's juiced. You know what I'm saying? That's juiced. So now you're playing a lot of pick and pops, right? You're going to see Brook be open on some plays because they're going to collapse on Giannis, trying to stop him, and he'll kick it back out. Maybe around. You're just going to see Brook be open a lot in this case. Now it's juiced to the over because he is going to hit it. I do see him easily hitting 2 threes. So if I were you, if you don't mind the juice, I'd jump on Brook Lopez's threes.
Giannis, you want to talk juice, is -190 for over a half 3, and DeRozan's -145 over a half 3 as well.
Yeah. they're telling you a story here, man. It's fucking crazy. The books are telling you a story. They're not going to let you get paid off these players today because we have to understand Chicago got a win, right? But this is a win when you have two key players go out during the game. So when you make the adjustments, you're really not game planning ahead of time. Let me try to articulate this. When you're in the playoffs, right? And you're doing your scouting reports and you're doing your game planning, once you get your second star player out, now mind you, it's 7 minutes left just about in the fourth quarter, you're really just going back to your bread and butter and what you know during the regular season. So when you make those adjustments, your opponent knows what's coming, right? They know what's coming. But now that you have the time to adjust, and now that you have the time to create a new new adjustments, if you will, then this makes you a better team. This makes you better. Now that you know that you're not going to have Chris Middleton, then you know what you can work with. But you really can't do that in game. Losing Bobby Portis is a big deal, but losing Bobby Portis and Chris Middleton is a big deal. So now that you're going to bring your bench players off, your support guys, and you create a game plan around your support guys, they make a better team. Chicago was still, man, 0-14. 0-14 or 0-15 against top teams, bro. So don't get it twisted. Because you win a game, don't mean you all of a sudden going to smack these motherfuckers, right? It's just that you were able to get them kind of handicapped, if you will, because they lost two prime players that were a part of their game plan.
And situationally, it was a real nice confidence builder for the Bulls, knowing that in their worst shooting performance since January, they were up a point in the fourth quarter. I mean, that's an easy thing to get behind in the next game. And we talked about it yet, and I stayed off the Bucks, but I didn't have the wherewithal to back the Bulls in game two. I like it. I like it. We have, and Ron Crawford giving you the support on that first quarter look. Says he likes it. He's on the full game Milwaukee Moneyline spreadsheet play of the day. And Daryl's on the first quarter -1 at -104. And let's give a shout out to our Ron Crawford in the house. Final game on our card, and the wild twists and turns of a playoff series will never cease to excite me. And do we have a giant one here in the West first round, game 3? Phoenix Suns dominant all season long, 64 wins, 18 losses, 32-9 on the road at the New Orleans Pelicans, 36-46, 19-22. You want to say quick hello? My son just came home. Big guy.
Little Jimmy.
I want to say hello and a big smile there for the
looking
guy.
just like Jimmy.
Look at this guy.
Hey, what's up, my man?
And he's a Carter named after Vince. And
Really?
Yeah.
He's got a head like Vince Carter too, man.
Are you gonna wish us luck, big guy?
Good looking boy.
Okay, we gotta get back to work. I love you. There he is.
You're a great dad, brother.
Oh, I it's the perfect time in my life to have this opportunity. 42 years old. You gonna
have any more kids?
There have been some discussions.
Oh wow. Okay.
Let's go back to Suns Pelicans Smoothie King Center in New Orleans, Louisiana. 96 possessions a game is the pace here. Let's move over to the line history in this spot. We have the Suns opening up 2 days ago at 9 a.m. at +1. They quickly moved to -1 and all the way up to -2.5. And that was within 3 hours of this being available. Then 2 hours after that, a big move towards the Pelicans. Pelicans go down from +2.5 down to +1. And we're back with the Pelicans at +2. We go over from the total perspective, opening up at 219.5. We've dropped all the way down to 216. We go over to the cash flow in the spot. 25,000 tickets are in. We have 70% of the tickets and 85% of the cash on the Phoenix Suns to step up here. We have 78% of the tickets on the over, but just 14% of the cash, and we watched it drop 3 points.
Mhm.
So let's talk
Mhm.
about this. Booker expected to miss the rest of the series, and wow, what a changer.
Mhm.
He had hit 7 threes and had 31 points in the first half
First
of the
half, bro.
basketball game.
First half.
This year we talked about the 16 games the Bucks have played without Middleton. They're 7-9. In the games, the 14 games the Suns played without Booker, they're 8-6. So Cameron Johnson going to get more run, Landry Shamet going to get more run, and maybe Aaron Holiday, who has not seen the floor in the series, will get the opportunity. And we also have to talk about the 5-8 seeds that have upset the number 1 seed. And for me, in our NBA Jam days, I was always the Denver Nuggets. I was always Mutombo and LaFonso Ellis.
Really?
Every time I was always, and we use the codes to take off the computer assist, and you weren't going to be. I thought that there was nobody better than me with the Nuggets and LaFonso Ellis and Dikembe Mutombo. And the image of Mutombo holding the basketball under the hoop when they upset the Sonics is probably the most lasting image of my entire life. I'm from the Pacific Northwest, and we were very excited about that Sonics team. And I really do think that's the most lasting NBA image of my entire life. And I know everybody has their own. A lot of people have Jordan finally winning it and, kissing the trophy. But for me, it's Mutombo holding the ball under the hoop. And I just can't believe what I'm just like, are you going, what? Our Sonics lost? So only 8 seeds only 5-8 seeds have upset the number 1 seed. And we start not with CJ, but with Ingram. My goodness, 37 points, 11 boards, 9 assists. He is a special basketball player, and he's showing the world that right now. Take it away here, Darryl. This one is going to be fun to cap. Suns, Pelicans.
What we talking about, bruh? I mean, come on. Come on, Jay. I mean, it's still the Suns, right? It's still the fucking Suns. Let's not talk about this team is not deep, bro. Okay? And it's still Nyland's Pelicans, right? They stole a game, but we can use this same narrative with the Suns like we did with Milwaukee. You lose your hottest guy, right? And now you're having that weight be on CP3. And now you're having these glue guys having to come in and play a better game. I'm looking at this line, and the line yesterday was -3, right? I don't see any way in hell the Phoenix Suns lose this game. I don't at all. Good point what Dennis saying about he doesn't trust CP3 to carry a team. Ingram is the best player on the court. I'm going to tell you right now, Ingram is the best player on the court, but your best defender on that team is Herb Jones, right? Is Herb. So now you got these glue guys who are really, in a sense, kind of trying to step up. And we know that glue guys play better when they're at home. So now you got Alvarado who's making noise for the for all of Spain and for all of Spain and Mexico, if you will. You got Larry Nance who's kind of contributing, right? You got Hayes who's contributing. So these guys are contributing, but I'm telling you, it's not enough against the Suns. It really isn't. It's not. So this is the type of game now to where the adjustments are going to be made with the glue guys on the Phoenix Suns team. And I just believe that Phoenix have shown you that they are the better team for the entire NBA this season. They've got the best record. They've got the head coach of the year, Monty Williams. You'll see those adjustments being made here. I do like Suns to win this game in the long run. It was a stolen game by the Pelicans, just like it was a stolen game by the Chicago Bulls. It's one of these things to where if you're just going to give me 2 points in the playoffs, against the best team in the NBA right now, I would take Phoenix Suns any day. So I do like the Phoenix Suns to win this game. I haven't made it official, and this is the reason why I say all that to say this. I don't know. I'm going to know after this game, but I don't know how they're going to use Herb with Devin Booker being out. I don't know what they're going to do here. I don't know if they're just going to put him on CP3. CP3 is a guard, right? Herb is a forward, a small forward at that. I don't know if how much switching is going to be involved because you can play Herb Jones one-on-one with anybody on the Suns. So I will give you that, right? I will give you that. So now you got more. You got shooting now because you can play Herb Jones one-on-one with Phoenix. You don't have to worry about so much switching. You just go over these screens and stay on CP3. The positions themselves are kind of out of whack, but we switch all day. This is what CP3 looks for. He looks for switches. He looks for defenders being out of place so that he can find either mismatches or he can find somebody in the paint that was left open. I mean, there's different defensive schemes that he looks for. He's a fucking literal genius when it comes to that. But now you got somebody who can be dedicated to Chris Paul and Herb Jones. The scary part is if you got CJ McCollum involved and you're putting a lot of interest on CJ McCollum and Brandon Ingram, you got somebody out there that was almost a 40% three-point shooter, and that's Devontae Graham. That's Devontae Graham. So it's one of these things to where I'm not running to the window on this one, but if I'm just looking at the Pelicans and Suns as a whole, you can't tell me just because Booker is gone. Booker had the reason why Booker didn't even be looked at for the league's MVP is because he didn't play a lot of games this year, right? He was out. So Monty is used to not having to play Booker. CP3 was out for a couple games. DeAndre Ayton was out for a couple games. At one point in time, they were winning games with campaign starting. So if you're trying to tell me that because Booker is gone, the Pelicans are all of a sudden this disco-ass squad, bro, nah, man. I'm not on that just yet. I think it's a lot of recency bias because of how they lost. There was a stolen game at the Suns. If you listen to the real ones, man, they were talking about the Suns fans, bro, are not even really tripping on this game. Like, there's like no life whatsoever because it's the fucking Pelicans, right? It is still the Pelicans, and this is still the Suns. So I do like the Suns in this game overall. If I were to look at this from a points perspective, I do believe this goes under. I do believe that. I believe as low as that total is, it's still going to go under. You have to slow the game down, and you're going to see a lot of defense involved, and you're seeing glue guys who's going to play. So I like the Suns full game. I do like the under here. Just haven't gotten to the window on it just yet. But don't get it twisted, man. This is still the Pelicans, bro. And everybody's going to say, Brandon Ingram this, Brandon Ingram that. This guy is a great player, the best player on that squad. And you got somebody in CJ McCollum now who has playoff experience, deep playoff experience at that. You know what I'm saying? That's probably bringing some kind of balance to this squad right now and telling them what to do. But he's still a loser in the playoffs, right? And so this one here, if I've got to look at it, I'm going to look at how Monte coaches this team, how essentially these glue guys are going to play. And it's one of these things to where I'm just going to look at this game and just really, really, really try to dissect this game and see how Monty coaches this game. Will he?
A little chaotic over here. Robin Lehner out for the year.
Sorry, say it again.
Robin Lehner out for the year, knee surgery.
Oh, wow. So Logan Thompson. Wow. I like Logan Thompson. Wow. Okay, so Golden Knights lose their starting goaltender after trading away Fleury in the offseason. You were rolling nice there, Darryl.
Yeah, thanks, Jose. Really nice. I just forgot my thought. I just forgot it.
It was a great breakdown. It was an absolutely great breakdown. And at this point, we have no official play yet, and no need to force it if you're thinking about getting to the window. And is that the case? We're going to wait and see if you move on the Suns and possibly the under?
Give me 1 second. I'm going to tell you now.
Sure.
I'm moving on the Suns. I am moving on the Suns.
We are moving on the Suns.
Whoa. It's just been taken. Hold on. Has it been taken off?
No, not at Pinnacle, and they're the quickest to the trigger. Let me see if it is here. No, it's available everywhere.
What do you have?
A 2. We are back at 2s. You can
Yes,
get the Suns -2 at -108. Let's just see if Circa has a chance of beating that here. And we have moved on the Suns -2. Yes,
where are the tickets at on the Suns?
Sure. They're all over the Suns. We have 70% of the tickets and 85% of the cash. So the big bets are coming in on the Phoenix Suns as well as the public.
Yeah, I'm gonna move on the Suns. Give me Suns -2.
Suns -2 for Darryl, -2 at -108. The first opportunity to play without your star, usually teams step up. And the only reason why I'm held back a little bit is because I think that might be a regular season thing more than a everything on the line thing in the playoffs. But I sincerely understand your look on the Suns -2 at -108. So we have our guy Darryl, who is hitting at 57.2% on this show. 83 and 62 plus 16.82 units, ROI plus 11.60% average line -103. Moving on every playoff game here. So let's discuss every look that Darryl has given us. First off, I don't give a motherfucking shit what the spread is. Play of the day is Hawks -1 and -107. Astute Chaos, by the way, is on the Miami Atlanta first half over 114. Then Darryl is on the first quarter -1 for the Milwaukee Bucks at -104. Ron Crawford spreadsheet play of the day is Milwaukee money line. I'm on the Milwaukee Bucks first quarter and full game. I'm back in the first quarter and full game. And then Darryl is on the Suns at -2 at -108. And the drive for 60% is back on, right? We got that drive.
I was at 60, man. Took a dive late in the season with the last week, I believe. But yeah, I'm trying to get this right, bro. 60 is my number. That's my goal, 60%. If I can hit at 60%, I'll feel good about myself.
60 is a spectacular number, a beyond professional number to hit if you can get there. And I believe you can.
I believe it, brother. I believe it. Dutch, man, shout out to Dutch, bro. 65%, bro, is just, he's that brother. He's that brother, man.
It's you guys, and I truly mean that, have had the two finest performances that I've had in the history of Betting with the Bag as special guests. So it's I'm very, very thankful to cap with you guys and watch you guys succeed. It's very, very, very enjoyable. Darryl will be back in action with us on Wednesday. That was the turning point in my season happened when you started doing 2 days a week with us, when we moved you to 2 days a week. That was my turning point. And I love it. I love capping with you. Making moves on every single game here in the playoffs for today's card is our guy, Darryl, and great breakdowns, my man. Enjoy your weekend, my friend. Follow our guy, Darryl, on Twitter at It's Darryl. Darryl, any last words for the Capper Sport in the show?
Yeah, y'all make sure y'all have a safe weekend. It's gonna be a good weekend, man. It's gonna be a good weekend this weekend. I can't wait for it. The weather's nice. Make sure you get out there and do your thing and be safe doing it. And I will see you, man, on Wednesday. Appreciate everybody in the chat too, man. Y'all really make a brother feel special. So I appreciate y'all.
Wow. We love you, Darryl. There he is, coming to us live from Los Angeles, California, making moves on each and every game. And it's the weekend now. So I have some additions to make. And I'm going to be on Razor Sharp Picks horse racing show as soon as the kids go down as well. So let's review all action here on the card. In the NHL, Bobano is on the Minnesota Wild. Team total over 3.5 at -142. He's on the Oilers at +105. I bet the Oilers at +100. And he's on the over 6.5 in the Capitals Coyotes game. And I get it. I really get it. And I haven't moved on that, but I really understand that look. And I may add it. Then we have in MLB, Bobano moving on the over 7.5 in Pirates Cubs. That game was supposed to be an afternoon game, and it's been moved to the evening due to inclement weather. The Say play of the day, number 1, is the first 5 under 4 in St. Louis, Cincinnati. Then the Guardians, Yankees, we've stayed off. Ron Crawford's spreadsheet play of the day is the Philadelphia Phillies Bobano moved on the Phillies first 5 in full game. Say hey play today's on the Phillies first 5 -1/2 plus 115. And I too am interested in moving on the Phillies first 5. I didn't do that yet. I've only made 2 bets so far in MLB, so that would look like to be an additional. And my first bet is at under 8.5 in Boston Tampa. That has since moved to 8. Makes me feel good. Rockies Tigers, no action. Then Bobano is on the Braves first 5 -123, full game -130. I'm off that spot. Matty Ice's taint play of the day is the Chicago White Sox money line at -105. He's coming off the brilliant call on the Tigers yesterday. Dommy Gunn, who went 15-0 over Tuesday and Wednesday in MLB, is on the Tigers at -126, and he says that's his favorite bet of the day. That has since moved to about -150. He's on the Phillies -120, the White Sox -105, the Mets first 5 under 4.5, Tampa Bay first 5 -0.5, Nats first 5 under 4.5. Dabby Cab coming off a great day yesterday. He's on the Astros first 5 -0.5 -110, Dodgers first 5 -0.5 -110, and the first 5 Texas Oakland over 4 at +101. I am going to move on the Astros first 4.5. The first 5 is too juiced, and I would have to turn into a -1 line. Instead, I'm going to take the first 4.5 because that gives me plus money. Then I want the Orioles first 5. I want Zimmerman. I'm hoping Detmers keeps getting touched. I'm going to move on the first 5 under 4 in Royals Mariners. I'm going to have to. It's not being offered to me at 4. I'm going to have to use the -1 calculator to get that 4, and that's going to be at +100. Bobano's on the over 8 in Dodgers, Padres, Mets, Diamondbacks. We have no action. And then Bobano is on the over 7.5 in the Rangers, A's. I don't give a motherfucking shit what the spread is. Play of the days, Hawks first quarter -107. I think I'm going to tail that. And he's also on the Bucks first quarter -104. I'm also on the Bucks first quarter. And first quarter -1 is -104, not just first quarter -9. And I'm also on that and the full game Bucks. And he's on the Suns -2, -108. And that is a spot I believe I will stay off. There you have it. We are in the books. What a week we've had. What a week. But it's not over yet. We want more money. So we are attacking this card with everything we have. Catch me on Razor Sharp Picks show tonight. The next time after that you'll see me on Pub Sports Radio will be on Say Hey Plays of the Day on Monday. Get to make my debut with Jose. Jose will have Connor Mack on the show today. And Jose, tell us again what your day was yesterday and what your record's at, because it's spectacular work that we must celebrate.
Yeah, sure, of course. And by the way, not to be forgotten in all this, Fridays are packed shows. No clean sheets tonight, too. 7 p.m.
Oh, nice.
I believe it's 7 p.m. Yeah, 7 p.m. It'll be probably on during the horses, but if you want to take a break, go get some soccer picks in there. It's a great time. I'll be on there as well. Soccer record actually pretty good. Don't keep track of it, but pretty good, I think. But yesterday, 8-0-1, plus 1.15 units, not a big deal again. 62-43, plus 27 units. And again, that's not even the high water mark of the season. So we're still grinding.
Extremely impressive, Jose. So Say Hey Plays of the Day starring Connor Mack. C-Mac will be rolling with us. So next up, in less than an hour, we have our guy Sharpie's Prize Picks. Sharpie's Prize Picks will be at 3:10 p.m. Eastern. That will be followed by the NBA Pub Hub at 4 p.m. Then we have Say Hey Plays at 5:30 p.m. And we have No Clean Sheets at 7 p.m., which will also be going on with the horse racing show, which I will jump on at 9 p.m. There you have it. What a week we've had so far. Let's keep it rolling. We have nothing without all you guys in the chat. Jared T. Oh, and we do. Oh, yes. I forgot about that. Or maybe I don't know if I remember. I don't know. I'm tripping out here. Washington Capitals -1.5. Oh, but that's not a spreadsheet play today. Let me know. PG 00187, Ice Wolf, Ron Crawford, Jared TG, Nutflush Allen. If anybody's in Vegas right now, DJ Big Boss, Big Ragoo, Nutflush Allen, all hanging out in the books there. I wish I could be there with them. For show, Steph Brasco, Max Swelly, Kenny Rogers 1. Oh, and it is spreadsheet play today. I see it right there. Let me grab that right there. Red Washington -1.5 as a spreadsheet play of the day. And let's get that in. That will be That's after I have Bobano's stats. I got to go over the spreadsheet play of the day and say, hey, plays the day and all those records. So I will have that done soon. Unc Oliver, Jay Peasy, Mike, Viper, NB, Rants, THC is Rizza. Hey, buddy, what? Okay.
Oh, is the Sea Dog back?
Yeah.
He's wearing stripes today.
Yeah, rocking the stripes today.
Looks like
All you
Goose
guys, Overtime, Eric, Jones, Angel, Valentin, Mike and Mike M, T-Mac, all you guys, thank you so much for your support.
I have a bone to pick with you before we go into the weekend.
Yeah?
Yeah, I have a bone to pick with you. At what point is my capping considered a season, Jim? I don't know what I got to do to get up in this Hall of Fame of capping of yours. Plus 20 units on 2 records. At what point am I considered a season now? I don't know, Jim.
Okay.
Put the hat on, Carter.
That's a good point. Oh,
Thank
nice. Looking good, buddy. That's all him there. That's all him. I love you guys. Let's get that cash. On behalf of all of us at Pub Sports Radio, thank you to my producer, Jose, from Jeff Slaughter and all of us. Get that cash. Thank you for watching. Leche, hey, los bookmakers.